I really don't know. You know, police have been suffering. Police have been suffering because your world prosecution, you have been doing things and flying below the radar. I think the latest suspension, if in your world, in Gauteng, is a big one.
Yes.
Is a big one.
Oh, yes, certainly.
And
rather late than never.
And it's not new. And it's not new. The information that is suspended about and all the kind of stuff. So you sit here, since I've been in this environment, you sit here that police, you have done the good job. I wonder what happens to the next segment. You see here in Western Cape, police were very frustrated about Tembe matter. They believe that they had a case. They were told more than many times to go dot the I's and cross the T's. They did that more than many times. And they went back and somebody said, you go and do this. So whoever was doing that today, they believe that there was a protection of somebody by the prosecution. So you sit there and the police, they come back and cry. It is underscored that one time I met the Minister of Justice and DPP. I met them. And I said, that's what police are saying. One thing they say they arrest people, special cash house people. And the IO meets these people on the road and say, hello. I say, but you were in prison. He said, no, I'm out of the... I say, what happened? They say, if you look how cash house people get bails, they get bails on the small courts most of the time, if you follow their record. What happens, they go to the main court, it's opposed and all that, you lose, you fail the bail, you are arrested. But prosecutors and the lawyers for these guys, they started together. So what they do, they move it from the main court where they did not get the bail and go to some court in some corner and don't call the IO, and it goes there unopposed and they get the bail. So it's a whole system that is giving us problem. So you say, how did I feel? Sometimes you feel numb because you know it might happen.
Yes, I don't deny that the whole system is broken. I agree with you. But there are problems in all the departments, the police, the NPA, justice, correctional services, that we really do need to overhaul them all from the bottom up. And as you say, it's going to take a lot of money and a lot of will. But really the matter was then withdrawn against him by some miracle. It was later sent for an inquest.
And send you home?
I forget where it was. And we all know that an inquest is a very watered-down version of a matter. And then when it came back with a recommendation that it be prosecuted, somehow again, miraculously, the murder charge disappeared. And he was convicted of, eventually, I think, kidnapping and assault. Now, you and I both know that if you can prove assault, you can prove murder. If you assault someone and he dies, you can prove murder.
Yes.
But he got convicted of assault. And Opera Machibe is dead today with no justice.
And the real story we know was murder.
Yeah. But let's leave that there. Do you think that it's a mere coincidence that more than 12, probably around 18 cases have been withdrawn against Mr. Matlala over the years?
Knowing him now, absolutely, I don't believe that is coincidence.
So there's something rotten with the system.
Now, knowing who Matlala himself is and the power of money that he commands.
Well, the power of money that he commands impressed you because you went to stay in his fancy flat for free.
No, I was impressed by the accommodation. I didn't know at the time that he has so much money.
Well, that kind of accommodation, you and I both know, doesn't come cheap.
Okay. I agree.
Do you regret having this relationship with Mr. Matlala, or this acquaintanceship, or whatever you want to call it?
I think somebody heard me yesterday, though I said that, why did I meet him? I'm sure life would have been much easier if I did not meet him. So you sit here, you reflect, and you say, it could have been better having not met him.
Hindsight is the perfect sight, we know this. You're still peripherally involved with the police, as you should be. As you said, it would be irresponsible to not be. Lieutenant General Sabia has said that these allegations of General Makwenazi is a manifestation of a factional battle for power in the police. Do you agree?
I don't agree with your first statement that I'm still involved. I try to run hard and far away as I can.
Yes, but you can't.
I try to run very far. Honorable Member, I did say, and I want to repeat, that is a taxing and sapping environment to work with the police there. So if you get any opportunity of being away from there, take it and run. But you kept brought back all the time. The police, I guess, like all other families, have people that have egos, and they've got egos, and they've got their thinking, but also ambitions. Ambitions, because I would not dismiss that the two positions might have some kind of a price, and what they've put us here, the incoming national commissioner and the incoming head of Hawks. I would not. And there is a name that keeps coming that I think Sbia did agree that he would love to be a head of Hawks.
He did, yes.
I think he agreed on that. Yeah. So, but Sbia would think that somebody else might be a competitor to it. And I have heard that they would suspect that Ntlantla must be there. Maybe that's why himself has made a statement that he doesn't want to be. So once you have those ambitions, there will be clash of yourself working towards that. Honorable Member Methods was to ask the question that she didn't ask. What is the role of the commissar? One of the role of the commissar, the leader, is to keep peace within the organization. So if yourself, you are not sure whether you can keep peace, the soldiers and those that you are supposed to take care of them, they will go astray, as it has happened with the police. But anybody that denies that there are petty wars, quite bitter going on the police, would not be living with us. But the only problem, those battles are dangerous, and they leave South Africans very, very vulnerable.
Okay. So do you think the appointment was a regular appointment, or was it a job for a pal? Sima Shamani was certainly not the most experienced person in the group that was available for that job.
I think he's an advocate. Yes, he is an advocate.
There are many people here who are advocates too, and they've never practiced law, so it doesn't mean a thing.
No, he did practice. He did practice. Before he joined the government, he had a practice as an advocate. So
that we get a legal opinion coming from Parliament as opposed to a political party. Now, I'm not aware whether we have received that, and my concern will be we should not take a decision and not follow up on its implementation. If I have missed that legal advice of Parliament on the matter, I would be quite comfortable that we proceed. But if it has not been provided, I think that it would be inappropriate for us to take decisions and proceed without having finalized those decisions. to the extent that they should. So that's the clarity I need from you, Chair. Thanks.
Honorable Skosana.
Ngiyakuthokoza mgcini isihlalo. Ngicabanga ukuthi kwakhulunywa njalo ukuthi indaba le iza kuhlathululwa kuhle yaka honorable. Ngingazi ke ukuthi mhlambe ke sekutshentshile ngoba kwakhulunywa njalo khona Chair ukuthi indaba le iza kubuyelelwa. Ngamanye amagama ngithi ukuthi ngivuma no chief whip we largest party ukuthi ngicabanga ukuthi sakhuluma njalo nje ngiyakuthokoza.
Okay. No, honorable members would remember that a legal opinion was presented in that meeting. And the decision of the meeting was that we will live with what we have until there is any other view to the contrary of what was presented to us. And we even said that if members wish to make further submissions, they can make those submissions, and then the legal team of Parliament will come and give us a feedback on the considerations they would have made to those submissions. And so far, we have not got any feedback contrary to what has been presented. And I will want us to proceed. If there is the day we have a meeting, we can get a report from the legal team of Parliament. But so far, there has not been any official report on the feedback that has been presented before the committee. And I'm going to persuade you, Chief Whip, that for now we live with what we have. Honorable Sangweni.
Chief Whip, and again, please, we're not disrespecting the chair. It's on the legal opinion itself, and if we are incorrect, we can just be corrected. Our understanding was that the legal opinion that had been presented to us dealt with the matters that were referring to the apprehension of bias as it related to Honorable Shikeling and Honorable Skosana. And it was that legal opinion that we agreed that we will live with what we have, as you're currently saying, which is why Honorable Skosana has been participating. On the issue of Honorable Diane Kohler-Barnett, we received a legal opinion from the DA. And I remember that the meeting rejected the legal opinion from the DA, saying that we cannot ask the DA to bring us a legal opinion in Parliament if needs be, can then bring that particular legal opinion. So our previous position as it related to Honorable Kohler-Barnett was not changed by any legal opinion from Parliament because we had not received such. Thank you, Chair.
You are very right, Honorable Member, that in that meeting, the legal opinion from the DA was not part of the official documents from Parliament. It was a document that was circulated for members to interact with. We agreed very well that the only document relevant in that meeting was the legal opinion that the legal team of Parliament presented. And that legal opinion dealt with three matters. It was the matter of members who would have opened cases against witnesses. And then it was also a matter of members against whom there will be reasonable perception of bias, and whether and the third was that whether such members could participate in the proceedings and even go to an extent of asking questions. Those were the three matters that we referred to the legal team. And then in the responses that the legal team gave, or the report or the opinion that the legal team gave, it dealt with all those matters. And the decision that the committee has taken was that, maybe even without going to individual names of members, to say the opinion that we have now says we can go ahead and allow members to participate. If I'm not misrepresenting you, Andile. And so the understanding is that not until the committee has received anything to the contrary of what was presented, the committee will continue to live with that opinion. Honorable Nomval.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's so unfortunate that this matter is coming in this fashion, because it tampers with the proceedings. We thought we were dealing with the interviews, with questioning witnesses, but it arises, and I'm not blaming the person who has raised the point, but I'm saying it's so unfortunate. And our understanding, Chair, was that this is an urgent matter which required to be resolved before we start today, this week's program. That is why we were making calls to you on Monday, inquiring about whether there will be a meeting or not, because I think this is a housekeeping issue that we must deal with when we are dealing with our housekeeping issues. So, but what precipitated and what exacerbates the problem is that we failed to convene a meeting on an urgent basis and deal with this matter. So my suggestion, Chair, is that we convene an urgent meeting just to clear all the outstanding issues, because they are going to temper and they will follow us for as long as we fail to resolve them on time. So I'm just making a plea to you, a kind plea, that as soon as possible, let's convene a meeting and deal with all the outstanding issues which have an impact on how we run our processes. Thank you.
Yeah, look, honorable members, I don't hear any one of you saying that the legal opinion that Parliament presented is not what the chairperson is saying. Chief Whip.
No, Chair, we have the legal opinion with us that Parliament presented. And I think it's important to bring to your attention the distinction between the two matters that we have had to deal with. When you look at the matter relating to Skosana, Honorable Skosana and Honorable Shikaring, we are dealing with matters that are totally different from what we referred to when we're talking about Honorable Bernard in this way. We even, as a committee, I would imagine, were gravitating towards taking a decision, given the seriousness of the alleged involvement of Honorable Kola Bernard, that she may be one of our witnesses. We have never contemplated that the DA decided to give an opinion on her alone, excluding Shikaring. Was on its own a recognition of the fact that the two cases are totally not the same. And the way we interpreted the legal opinion provided to us was that it was not dealing with matters where you have a possibility of one of us becoming a witness. It was dealing with the principle, firstly, of our own authority as a committee to remove anyone in an event where we believe that they should not be part of our membership. But it did not deal with the issues relating to, can one of us who might be a witness tomorrow, likely, very likely to be a witness, given the seriousness of the allegations leveled against her, be also part of those who are questioning witnesses before us? If your understanding was that, Chair, and the understanding of the Parliamentary Legal Service was that, that would be a different understanding from what we have. And I think that is where I was saying, we don't disagree with how you are presenting the legal opinion, your understanding of it, but we're saying it did not address the issues relating to the nature of the allegations leveled against Honorable Kona Barnard. We can read it. I'm sure the legal team can read it here, and they tell us whether they were advising on the basis of similar circumstances or these are not exactly the same. Our views are they are not the same. But maybe, Chair, so that we don't appear to be stalling the process, we would want to suggest that even with that concern that we are raising, you proceed and allow Honorable Barnard to participate and advise us tomorrow through the legal division of Parliament what are the implications of that when we later decide that she must be a witness. Because we also don't want to appear as if we are personal to any of our colleagues. But we are very convinced that where matters of principle arise, we must be steadfastly loyal to them unless circumstances change that convince all of us. Thanks.
Note hands of members who want to speak on this matter. Okay, I'm seeing only one hand of Honorable Malim.
No, thanks, Chair. I'm happy that the Chief Whip says we must proceed, because if participation is going to be limited to when you open your mouth, then it's a redefinition of participation. Before the witness took an oath, Honorable Kona Barnard was already sitting this side of ours. That is participation. And the objection should have been raised at that time, that she cannot be here because she's going to be expected to be on the other side. That's number one. Number two, in the absence of any authority, in this case, a legal opinion that disqualifies her or qualifies her, we are where we were when she was participating in our meetings. So once you say there is no opinion that comes that speaks about her, and there's no opinion that speaks against her, we are back to where we were. We have no right to remove any member until that kind of opinion comes and advises differently, without going into agreeing with you that that opinion of the Parliament was actually the opinion as described by you. It's exactly what it says. And I don't see them coming up with any other thing except what they told us in that meeting. But for the sake of progress, I will say let's proceed with what the Chief Whip has said. Thanks.
Okay, honorable members, let's do this. The moment or the day the committee would have
the room check was of the mind, Uguti. We mostly agree that she must do the right thing. But where I differ with you, Chair, you are now changing the statement when you say we must wait for the committee to decide on people who must be witnesses. This was never about being a witness. This was more about implication. That's why it was clarified between the matter of Honorable Skosana and Honorable Kona Barnard. So I think, Chair, let's not change the subject. But due to time, Chair, I think you as the chairperson, I always say this to you, it cannot be that the only decision you take as a chairperson is only about time for alternates. You should take this decision for us and help us, Uguti. You must make this decision. And constantly, Chair, you are delaying this matter. Because we should have had meetings already about this matter. We are going forward. Yes, we are busy. We've got a lot to deal with. But, Chair, I think it falls on your shoulders, Chair. It falls on the credibility of your leadership in this committee. So I think, Chair, decision can be made, but you are also delaying the matter. And you know what's the right thing to do. DA does know the right thing to do, but you cannot depend on them. Because when it suits them, it's correct. When it doesn't suit them, it's incorrect. So I think, Chair, make a decision for us and take this matter as fast as you can. If we have to continue like this, let's then continue like this. But if it's a matter of us taking a decision, it has to be taken very, very urgently, Chair. Thank you.
I do not agree with that assertion, unless if there is anyone amongst you who wants to tell me what the decision of the committee is on this matter. and I have reiterated this, that the chairperson of this ad hoc committee is not the committee. This committee is made up of members. When the chairperson speaks, the chairperson must speak the decision of the committee. Is there anyone amongst you who wants to remind me how the committee has decided, so that I can stand up here and say, the decision of the committee is this one: Honorable Kola Barnard stay, or Honorable Kola Barnard go out? What is the committee decision?
No, Chair, if I may, Chair, just to correct you that I don't get to be taken wrong on that matter. I'm not saying, Chair, the committee made a decision. You said we'll come and decide on this matter. But the feel of the House was mostly taking her out. So I'm saying, Chair, you have been delaying this matter. We should have dealt with this matter a long time ago. There was a Monday that we were supposed to have a meeting. I don't know whether it was cancelled or what.
On
It
a
never
point
happened.
of order, Chair.
So I think, Chair,
Please, Chair. Chair, we go around and around talking about the same thing, and then we have MKP, everybody,
Ma,
all
is
of
that a
them are
point of
saying the
order?
same thing.
No,
It is
no,
a point of order. We're not
Honorable-
having order in the House.
Honorable
And Chair,
Matthys.
we've already
But is
agreed
that a
we're
point of order,
proceeding,
Chair?
and now we're talking about administration issues here.
Honorable Matthys,
Please, Chair, protect us.
Just hold your horses. This is
I'm
how,
done,
this
Chair,
is how
thank
we're
you.
going to deal with issues. Honorable members, each and every member of this committee has a right to speak. But when you have spoken in the committee, it does not mean that what you say goes. All of us are bound by the decisions that the committee would have taken. So the committee has not been represented here. There is no decision that the committee has taken on that matter, and that is why I say I stand to be reminded by any one of you who knows any decision that the committee has arrived at on that matter. So that when I stand up here, I don't speak my personal things. I speak the decisions of the committee. Are you done, Honorable Shongwe?
I can continue, Chair, because my Honorable Matthys says I should continue, Chair. So I'll take it from there, Chair. So, Chair, I was saying I'm done.
Thank you. Honorable Malim.
Chair, everybody agrees we must proceed, including the person who sponsored this issue. He said we must proceed. We have a candidate, not a candidate, we have a witness before us.
Yeah.
And we can't be doing this when everybody says, yes, we've got concerns, but let's proceed.
Yeah.
Can we please proceed? We are asking for that. Everybody agrees on that.
Yeah, no, what I wanted to hear is whether you have a decision as a committee. Okay. Okay, so the statements that have been made against the chair here do not belong here. Yeah. Can we endorse? Let me apologize for this moment that we had, and we now have to proceed. Honorable Kola Barnard.
Thank you very much, Chair. To the former minister, you and I go way back, way back. Would you agree that we have had some of the most bizarre national police commissioners? If one looks at Celebi, the president of Interpol, and he ends up in jail. I think the reputational damage that did to the SAPs was inordinate. I don't know that we've ever recovered our reputation internationally. But how you did it, I don't know. I've never yet worked it out. But you pulled a rabbit out the hat and convinced them to hold the FIFA World Cup here against all the odds and against what Celebi had done to the country. And it was an extraordinary achievement. I mean, I was there, you were there, you know, for once we could walk the streets and not feel as though we were going to be attacked. But then I know Lieutenant General Mkonazi was bounced in as a relative junior over the heads of many
more senior and experienced members, and it was quite a surprise to everybody. But he wasn't left there very long before, heaven help us, it was handed over to Ria Pierga. And I agree with you. I think she did more damage to the SAPs than anyone before or since.
Well, that's where we have to leave it for this Friday. Please have a fantastic weekend. And remember, if you want to continue listening to these proceedings live, if you haven't yet done so, please download the SABC Plus app. So you just download SABC Plus. Once the app is downloaded, you register, and that's it. You don't have to pay anything. And that's where you can continue watching these proceedings, as well as the Madlanga Commission, where witness C is testifying today, as well as many other court cases and other inquests that we're bringing you live as SABC News. From us here at Updated Noon, have a fabulous weekend. We're going to take a break, and on the other side, you'll have your latest news.
Trust is earned when it's put to the test. The certainty your data is safe. The knowledge that when threats evolve, you're ahead of them. Vodacom's cybersecurity protects what matters. From national networks to enterprise IP, your data stays secure and your people stay connected. Search Vodacom Business Security. Together, let's build the extraordinary. Vodacom Business. Further together.
Hey there. Need to know your TV license balance but don't want to wait? No sweat. Just send a quick SMS with your ID or TV license number to 44210. Remember, standard SMS rates apply. And presto, your balance pops right up anytime, anywhere. It's as easy as pie. So why procrastinate? Give it a try and get your info in a flash. T's and C's apply.
The Blues chase a crucial win in their own backyard.
Releases James, and it deflects, and it's there. Enzo Fernandez with the simplest of finishes to give Chelsea the lead.
But the Black Cats want to demonstrate why they belong in the top half.
Decent ball in, header down is in! Sunderland have it, and listen to the noise. It couldn't have gone any better.
This is the Premier League. Witness Chelsea FC versus Sunderland FC on Saturday, 25 October at 3:30 p.m. Live on SABC3 and SABC Plus. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
For the love of the game.
It all starts with advice from FNB Private. Because the perfect overseas trip starts with planning. Save and spend in multiple currencies with your FNB Global account and lock in exchange rates. Enjoy up to 40% off flights with eBucks Travel and order Forex on the FNB app delivered to you at no extra cost. Your adventure awaits. Unlock invaluable with FNB Private. Help changes everything. FNB, a division of First Rand Bank Limited, an authorized FSP and credit provider. TC's earn rules and limits apply.
The Sea Robbers are digging deep to demonstrate that they have the capacity to climb the high mountain and score more than 3 goals against the Railmen. However, the DRC side is keen to score early to silence the black and white community. This is the second leg of the second preliminary round of the CAF Champions League. Do not miss out on this incredible contest. Orlando Pirates FC versus FC St. Eloi Lupopo. This Saturday, 25 October at 2:30 p.m. Live on SABC Plus and SABC2. Then on SABC radio stations at 3 p.m. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
For the love of the game.
The River Islanders are in it to win it, but their visitors, the Iron Union, targets the bag with 3 points. This is the Bundesliga, football as it's meant to be. Catch SV Werder Bremen up against FC Union Berlin on Friday, 24 October at 8:30 p.m. Live on SABC Sport on DTT Channel 4 and everywhere for everyone, always on SABC Plus. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
For the love of the game.
Design meets downtime on My Design Rules this Monday evening at 7 on S3. This week, our duos are challenged to create a family space for relaxing and connecting. Expect bold ideas, creative risks, and design drama along the way. Whose design will make the judges feel right at home and whose will leave them out in the cold. Open up your everyday to the extraordinary with My Design Rules. Monday evenings at 7, repeat Saturdays at 2 and Sundays at 4 p.m. only on S3.
The Natal Rich Boys and the Citizens are in a tense and dramatic clash for a semi-final spot. This is the Carling Knockout quarterfinal. Catch the KZN Derby, Richards Bay FC versus Durban City FC. This Saturday, 25 October at 2:30 p.m. Live on SABC Plus and SABC 1. Then on Mungana Lonene FM at 3 p.m. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
For the love of the game.
SAFM 104 to 107 nationwide.
On the top stories, Dele speaks on meeting Matlala and Ukraine calls for more long-range weapons. For SAFM News, I am Ondelambana and a very good day. Former Police Minister Becky Cele says he did not communicate any expectations to attempted murder suspect Vusumuzi Ket Matlala. Cele is appearing before Parliament's ad hoc committee, which is investigating allegations of criminal infiltration, corruption and political interference in the justice system. KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi made the allegations in July this year. Cele was the police minister between 2018 and 2024. He says he met Matlala a few times and he used his penthouse for free. EFF MP Lee Ann Mathis asked Cele whether Matlala had ever contacted him for favours.
It has never been said and I've never thought so.
Okay. And you didn't consider that he has any expectations?
No.
He's just been nice to you. So when he comes here, how would you respond if he tells us that he traveled by road to bring cash to you because he couldn't fly with the large amount of cash that he was bringing to you?
I'll say never. I never received any cash from him.
Witness C says that a businessman and attempted murder accused Vusumuzi Ket Matlala has denied any involvement in the kidnapping of Pretoria businessman Jerry Bushukha. Witness C is testifying before the Matlanga Commission of Inquiry in Pretoria. He says Matlala told him that he was assisting Bushukha's family in locating him due to his experience in the security industry. It's been a year since Bushukha was kidnapped. His abductors have been demanding a 25 million rand ransom. Witness C also says that Matlala told him that Bushukha owed a lot of people money.
But there was a white sheet that was very distinctive because it had torn edges and sides and it was manually tied to the window as a curtain. And that white sheet, it is distinctive because when one of the videos for the ransom that was sent to the family of Jerry Bushukha, we could say that the sheet resembles the same as that on the video.
One of the accused in the Senzo Meyiwa trial has denied being paid to kill the Bafana captain. State prosecutor advocate George Baloyi is cross-examining Muzi Sibiya in the High Court in Pretoria. Sibiya and four co-accused are on trial for the killing of Meyiwa in October 2014. Advocate Baloyi has been going through the confession that Sibiya allegedly made, focusing on where two people named Marco and Makimba Butelezi are mentioned as those who were involved in the killing.
I know nothing about everything that's written here. Marco said to me, there's a job we need to do. I asked them what job, and Marco said they were hired by Kelly to kill Senzo, and I asked the suspect which Kelly and which Senzo, The suspect said Kelly Kumalo and Senzo Meiwa. They are the people we are talking about.
Akazi kuze kube nesikhathi engidibana kuso nomakho nomakhimba behamba ngepolo ngene ngemuva ngikhulume nawo. Akukho engikwaziyo ngokufa kukaSenzo.
There was never a stage where I met Marco and Makimba. There was never a time where I spoke to them about the killing of Senzo.
The Mpumalanga Division of the High Court sitting in Mbombela has again adjourned the trial of the man accused of killing Hilary Gandhi. The aim of the postponement is to give the accused Rasin Gune time to get new legal aid. He dismissed his lawyer on Tuesday, saying they did not get along. The deceased was the daughter of the EFF Deputy President Godrich Gandhi. Her body was found in a plantation outside Mbombela in 2022. Ngune is accused of kidnapping and killing Hilary Gandhi in 2022. Ngune is currently serving 2 life sentences for the murder of his partner and her sister in Kanyamazane, also in 2022. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer has urged Ukraine's allies to provide it with more long-range weapons to strike Russian targets. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky is in London along with the representatives of more than 20 countries that have promised to provide troops or security guarantees to Kyiv after any ceasefires agreed. The BBC's John Sudworth has the details.
The focus in London will be on what President Zelensky euphemistically calls long-range sanctions, namely more weaponry that allows Ukraine's military to strike targets deeper and deeper inside Russia. This week we had the news that Ukraine had hit a Russian chemical plant with British-made Storm Shadow missiles, and it's those kind of weapons that Ukraine wants more of.
Recapping the top story, former Police Minister Bheki Cele says he did not communicate any expectations to attempted murder suspect Vusumuzi Cat Matlala. I am Undalambana for SFM News headlines at 1:30.
The Sea Robbers are digging deep to demonstrate that they have the capacity to climb the high mountain and score more than 3 goals against the Railmen. However, the DRC side is keen to score early to silence the black and white community. This is the second leg of the second preliminary round of the CAF Champions League. Do not miss out on this incredible contest. Orlando Pirates FC versus FC St. Eloi Lupopo. This Saturday, 25 October at 2:30 p.m. Live on SABC Plus and SABC2. Then on SABC radio stations at 3 p.m. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
For the love of the game.
This October month, SFM joins the world in breast cancer awareness. We bring you conversations that highlight the importance of early detection, survivor stories that inspire hope, and expert advice that could save lives. Together, let's spread awareness and support the fight against breast cancer. SAFM, leading the conversations that move us.
South Africa, it's time to crown our next queen. The Miss South Africa 2025 grand finale is here. It's a night of beauty, power and purpose. Join Nomalanga Shozi as she hosts the most dazzling celebration of South African womanhood live from the stage where dreams turn into destiny. Don't miss Miss South Africa 2025, Saturday, 25th of October at 7 p.m. only on S3. Who will wear the crown? Find out live on S3. Open up.
SAFM 104 to 107 nationwide.
Gordon Ramsay is back, and your favorite kitchen disasters are still somehow in business. New season, same confused chefs, terrifying walk-ins, and enough grease to fry your Wi-Fi. Watch as Gordon tries to fix the unfixable with nothing but sheer rage, British sarcasm, and an iron stomach. Kitchen Nightmares Season 8, Wednesdays at 6 p.m. on S3. Come for the food, stay for the emotional damage.
This is Lungi on any other regular day.
This economy makes me post once a day. Who does that? Like, ew.
Now this is Lungi getting extra with the 20 gig summer deal for just 99 Rand.
I have so many gigs. I could even have a gig, guys. I'm going live every single day to me because get friends.
Extra your summer. Get 20 gigs plus 2 months free YouTube Premium and 100 Vodabucks. Exclusively on the Vodapay app. T's and C's apply. Further together. Vodacom.
Join us Tuesday evening at 6 on Afternoon Express as we open up to your best life. The one and only Somizi Mhlongo goes back to school as part of his newest foray in the world of fashion. Musical maestro Lord Kez unpacks her story and how her newest song is sweeping the nation. And we unpack how every South African can turn their dream into a reality. That's Tuesday evening at 6 with repeats Sunday mornings at 8:30 only on S3.
Extraordinary is built on innovation, and Vodacom Business is leading the way. They provide the cloud that scales with ambition, AI that drives smarter decisions, IoT that connects what truly matters, and secure connectivity that keeps everything moving. From small enterprises to public sector solutions, Vodacom Business is creating a future where every connection counts. Stronger businesses, thriving communities, a nation ready to lead. Visit www.vodacombusiness.co.za. Together, let's build the extraordinary. Vodacom Business, further together.
The Full Circle with Bridget Masinga. Monday to Friday, 1 to 3 p.m.
Wale
Because we've got to carve out moments of joy wherever we can, even with music. We've got to take a moment to just catch our breath. And so we decided it's Friday after all, so we can skip out on 5 minutes of the ad hoc committee just to indulge in a little bit of Trezo's Walawele. That is his brand new single. And that is how we say good afternoon to you on this Friday, scorching hot Friday afternoon in Johannesburg. And I believe the weather's much the same across the country. We were in Durban yesterday, and it was rather hot. But because it's my hometown, Durban heat feels a little different to me than Johannesburg heat. I can bear Durban heat. Johannesburg heat, for some reason, just gets to me. We've got a jam-packed hour in this hour before we go back to that ad hoc committee. Of course, it's day 2 of General Begicele giving his testimony and answering questions in front of his fellow MPs today. I missed all the dramatics of yesterday. I keep catching the shade by MP Leanne Martes, who was questioning him a little bit earlier on, and she kept on saying, yesterday in your animated responses. But I saw the chatter on social media. Because we couldn't keep track of everything that was going on. We were traveling. It was a traveling day for us in and out of Durban. But I saw the chatter on social media, and it seems as though General Cele really just sang like a canary and gave all kinds of interesting stories and tidbits and things that came out of there. It seems like it was very, very entertaining. We've got Usmahle Mota joining us, who's our SABC News reporter and who keeps us clued in on everything that is going on. How are you doing this afternoon, Usmahle?
Good afternoon to you, Bridget, and thank you for having me. And afternoon to the listeners.
Thank you so much for the time. Much appreciated. So, I mean, we've got to start at the ad hoc. I almost feel like our focus is turned onto the ad hoc right now because a lot of the main character witnesses are the ones currently presenting themselves in front of that committee. And so we've sort of, cast a secondary eye on what's happening at the Madlanga Commission, though still cluing in. But a lot of our focus has now shifted towards what General Begicele has been testifying and sharing at that ad hoc. And like I say, I missed most of it yesterday because we were traveling. So if you could recap us as to, what were the highlights?
So I think the most important thing, Bridget, that Cele has testified about, and the reason why this ad hoc committee as well as the Madlanga Commission was established, it's the disbandment of the PKTT and him essentially saying that just corroborating witness testimony we've heard at the Madlanga Commission to say that it was not within Senzo Mchunu mandate to do that. And I go back to a testimony that was shared even in the Madlanga Commission, where Police Commissioner, National Police Commissioner Fani Masimula had said that, there was a PKTT before the one that was established by President Cyril Ramaphosa in 2017 that was disbanded. But when it was disbanded, Begicele had nothing to do with it, and it was the decision of the top police, generals and the provincial commissioners to decide on it. And what they were going to do is disband that PKTT without the involvement of the National Police Commissioner and then start afresh. And hence why even when there was the formation of a new PKTT in 2018 established by President Cyril Ramaphosa, you saw that, it had even more powers where it was even, assigned the NPA, people who would, or prosecutors rather, who would solely be looking at the political killings task team to say, they're going to work hand in hand. And I think, again, it shows that Police Minister Senzo Mchunu disbanded this PKTT. It was not within his jurisdiction. And additionally, I think what has also caught us by surprise is the fact of him saying that Anele Tembe, the late Anele Tembe, was murdered. I think that really took me aback, and the way that that crime was reflected to us, it was as though she had jumped. And I think it really, really worried me in a sense that how many more cover-ups, are South Africans being subjected to at the hands of the police.
Very interesting indeed. And one of the sentiments I noted, and I was trying to find that tweet because I had bookmarked it, as we say during our conversations with you, that we can't watch these two processes without obviously keeping a keen eye as well as to the chatter on social media, because people are responding in real time. And one of the conversations that was highlighted, besides the fact that the general seemed very eager to share a series of events, but it was also, people were questioning when he was asked about Kat Matlala and some of those exchanges, especially I guess I can call them gifts in kind, for lack of a better phrase, the stay at the hotel and his apartment, and people were saying, well, that speaks to the general's character, because why does it seem as though because he's no longer in office, or because he was no longer the Minister of Police, it was okay for him to take these gifts in kind, when obviously that character is giving you these gifts in kinds because he still feels like you are in a position of influence and power, and you are still able to have a quid pro quo type of relationship.
No, definitely. I think also it just demonstrates, Kat Matlala's influence for me, and, also just him trying to align himself with, top policemen. I mean, as we know that General Gurley did not come back as the police minister after the 2024 general elections. And for me, it just shows also, or demonstrates Vuti Kat Matlala's modus operandi, because even as we've seen in the testimony, the ad hoc and at the commission, is that he's always been trying to get close to the police minister. And even as we've seen in the Madlanga Commission, where he even today's testimony revealed that he was not the one who was close to Senzo Mchunu, but rather it was this Brown Mohosi, fellow. So I think it reveals his modus operandi, Kat Matlala's modus operandi, as well as, also the integrity of some of our top officials, knowing, who this Kat Matlala figure is. So I think obviously now he feels like he has nothing to lose, because he's just an ANC NEC member, and he feels he's justified to even receive some of these gifts in kind.
Although there's we both know there's no such thing as just an ordinary ANC NEC member. You still very much wield a lot of power and a lot of influence. Let's talk about that Madlanga Commission, and you've touched a little bit on it as well. We heard some testimony there identifying the late Pretoria taxi boss Jonathan Msibi. Talk to us about that situation and the alleged ties, I guess, to the drug cartels known as the Big Five.
So what I gather from the Madlanga Commission, Bridget, is the fact that, as I think it was Witness B, where she had actually testified, saying that there's more than just one cartel or this Big Five, but you are seeing even in the taxi industry where people even have their tentacles, in law enforcement agencies. And as she said that, I was just reminded of a tweet that somebody had posted on social media X, where he said that he was listening in on a conversation by some police people, and what they were saying is that sometimes their top police officials, will actually have roadblocks so that their criminal friends who are carrying drugs can use alternative roads so that they can get away. So I think more than anything, it just shows just how deeply run certain sectors of our police are and have been infiltrated by these criminal syndicates. And we also can't say, the only criminal syndicates that exist in South Africa are these Big Five, where we are still awaiting the names of the three that have not been divulged at the commission. But I think in her testimony, it's something that we should all be worried about, especially if criminals as well as policemen that are in bed with criminals, or are in bed together.
Now, we touched a little bit on this the last time you and I spoke, which was Wednesday, this matter about some of the implicated or alleged implicated judiciary members. Acting Judge President Aubrey Ludwaba, one of the folks that has been mentioned, denying receiving any money to grant bail to the kingpin Katiso Molefe.
Definitely. I mean, the Chief Justice released a statement last night saying that she had spoken to Justice Ridwaba just to get his side of the story, and even offered him to go on special leave. And he just denied that he would not be going on special leave, but he will be, consulting with his legal counsel, and will actually come to the Madlanga Commission, or wants to come to the Madlanga Commission to present his side of the story. So I think that it's actually Dwaba, especially because he's a man of his stature, and just the position that he holds is definitely meant to come to the commission and just give his side of the story. Because what we heard from witness A and witness B are allegations. There isn't anything to say that definitely there was a deposit, or there are pictures of him getting a big envelope or even a suitcase or anything like that. So I think, it will be just for the Madlanga Commission to allow him to come and get his side of the story.
I think, Sebastian, one of the concerns for most South Africans is that for the most part, our commissions seem to be toothless, right? So we come, we sit, we unpack all this. It becomes a hearsay situation, and there's no real follow through with any kind of investigative process, criminal investigative process after that. I don't know, should we be treading with caution in terms of, what do we do during and after this Madlanga Commission? When do we start launching the criminal investigative processes to see if there's any merit, to test all of these allegations and see if there's any merit to any of them?
And this, I think it also goes back to the opening remarks that were made by Advocate Terry Dow, who said that should nothing come of this commission, then South Africans will be very, very disappointed rather. And if the allegations that are made and are true, then it will, there'll be that even a trust deficit which sinks even further. So I think right now, what we can hope for is just the fact that these allegations are coming to light, and the findings, of the commission, even with witness B just saying that she hopes that after everything has been ventilated, she hopes that there will be a change in law enforcement agencies. But as history would have it, we've seen, and not a lot of people are actually prosecuted for what they have done.
And if we're being honest, Bahle, is hope enough? As people listen to us having the conversation, I can bet you 9 out of 10 just said, well, is hope enough? Should we be hoping, or should we literally be seeing steps being taken?
No, definitely. We want people to be held accountable. We want people, to be taken to task. South Africans want to feel safe in their homes and not constantly hear of these sex battles and sex being in bed with criminals. So we hope that there will be some sort of recourse. But also, I always say, South Africans, we live in a democratic state, and as we know, we always go to elections every 5 years, and it's up to each and every South African who's dissatisfied about the current condition of the country to exercise their vote.
Absolutely. Sibahle Motha, thank you so much for the time. We shall catch up again next week. Shame, I know I'm taking up all of your time now. I've got you not only watching the Madlanga Commission, but also watching the ad hoc at the same time. You have no time to breathe, so I appreciate it. That was Sibahle Motha, SABC News reporter. It's 1:30. It's time for us to catch up with the headline news. Andela Mbana is coming through.
Thank you, Bridget. On the news headlines, the Madlanga Commission has heard how alleged cartel criminal syndicate member Vusomuzi Ket Matlala dropped the names of prominent police officers he is close with when police descended at his home in December 2024. Former Police Minister Bekicele says he did not communicate any expectations to attempted murder suspect Vusomuzi Ket Matlala, and the authorities in Delhi have for the first time tried out cloud seeding to induce rain over the smoke filled in the Indian capital. A full update follows at the top of the hour.
The Full Circle with Bridget Masinga, Monday to Friday, 1 to 3 p.m.
All right. righty, it has just gone 1:30 on the Full Circle with myself, Bridget Masinga. The ad hoc committee is currently on a break, and of course we've been bringing you that live coverage as General Begicele, former police minister, is sitting for day 2 of his Q&A with his fellow parliamentarians. And then simultaneously in the other side of the country in Pretoria, the Madlanga Commission continues as well with Witness C this afternoon giving testimony. It's a bit of a tricky one as we try and jump between the two, but this is why we have the likes of Sbahle who keep us abreast of everything that's going on. Right now, though, we are going to be chatting to Daryl Erasmus, Chief Operating Officer and Acting Chief Executive Officer for South African Tourism. And it's summertime. It's summertime, Daryl, which means that it's a great time for us to be doing amazing things domestically as domestic travelers and tourists. Good afternoon to you. How are you?
Good afternoon, Bridget. Nice to be with you, and good afternoon to all your listeners. It is indeed summertime. I think we skipped spring. We went straight to summer.
We always do. We always do.
I happen to find myself in Kimberley today, and I can tell you the temperatures are definitely not spring temperatures.
Ooh.
They are summer temperatures for sure.
Absolutely. So South Africa's tourism sector is continuing to show great strengths and good signs of growth. And we've had a good recovery since we left COVID in the rearview mirror.
Absolutely. And the latest numbers, which were released as at the end of August, are giving a very good picture. And maybe just to give you some context, we obviously do a comparative between the August 2025 numbers and the August 2024 numbers. And we've seen a massive upswing in the form of a 30% year-on-year growth. If you look at the period January to August 2024 and you compare the same period January to August 2025, we're seeing just under a 16% growth. And if you look at that in actual numbers, for the month of August, we had just over 935,000 international visitors to South Africa. So big numbers, and we're so positive about the trend. So looking strong, and they're coming from markets that are really well known to us, our typical source markets. And happy to take you through some of those numbers and share those with your listeners as well if they're interested.
Absolutely. We will cast our eyes on that in just a moment. What do we attribute this, this steady upswing? 30% is no small margin. So what are we doing and doing so incredibly well?
So look, South African tourism as an entity does a lot of work in our different source markets. We're obviously marketing the country actively as a leisure but also a business events destination. And we do this in partnership with the trade. So the resellers of South Africa in the private sector. So it's a very collaborative approach. I can tell you that there's some big numbers coming out of Europe. We've got just over 20% if you look at the whole sort of European continent. If you break that down, the German market in the month of August was up 33%, almost 34%. The UK up 28, almost 29%. Australia, really strong, up 42%. You've got markets off a relatively low base, but like Brazil, up 72%. And we can also attribute it to, airlift. So if you look at markets like Australia, obviously our flag carrier, South African Airways, is on the Perth route. We have Qantas flying out of Sydney. But we are really excited that as of December of this year, Qantas are introducing a flight from Johannesburg to Perth as well. So an increase in airlift, an increased availability of flights is obviously going to help us to deliver bigger numbers from those regions. The same applies to a market like Brazil. Again, we have South African Airways on that route amongst other airlines, but they're also considering perhaps increasing frequencies, which we are in full support of because it will help us elevate those numbers even further. And then, of course, the Africa air markets are really, really strong for us. You've even got markets like Nigeria, just short of 50%. If you're comparing August 2024 versus August 2025, you're almost 50% ahead of where we were at last year. So really, really strong desirability. I think what it's showing us is, South Africa is still a really desirable, destination, in spite of all that's happening in, world and geopolitics, and in spite of all the negative things that, we are often bombarded with in South Africa. There's a really good story. Foreigners really want to come and experience what we have as a destination.
Absolutely. And in fact, those who work in PR say there's no such thing as bad PR. So
true.
So perhaps even our stance in geopolitics has somewhat helped us become more attractive to folks that might not have considered us before. But it's also interesting, the markets that you bring up, Germany, UK, Australia, Brazil, and I know we're focusing on South Africa's tourism sector and our incredible results and domestically as well. But the interesting part for me as someone who travels and with the group of friends who travel is that I think there's a healthy exchange of tourism between these 4 territories that you mentioned, for instance. You find a healthy sort of to and fro of South Africans and of their nations going back and forth.
Absolutely. I mean, South Africans are adventurous people, right? We love to see and experience new things. So as much as it's our mandate as South African tourism to get them to do the short lift and stay in South Africa and really experience the country that does belong to all of us, we are finding a lot of South Africans are still, choosing to go and visit international destinations. But it's a good balance. The important thing is those aircraft that are flying to South Africa and bringing us the international tourists can't go back empty. So, we need to have two-way travel in order to keep these routes viable. But for us as South African tourism, obviously the domestic market is critical.
Absolutely.
And you mentioned leading up to summer. So, it's our opportunity, and we'll be launching some summer campaigns very shortly. But it's our opportunity to really get South Africans moving and encourage them to travel the country.
Yeah.
I always say, instead of buying expensive Christmas gifts, maybe buy a slightly cheaper gift and take your loved ones or your family on holiday and build those memories that last a lifetime. A physical, gift doesn't last as long as those memories will. So definitely make the wise choice and see and experience our country. And I think more importantly, give back to the country in form of, investing and into the economies of these even smaller towns.
Absolutely.
Really important that we get people traveling all 9 provinces because there's something special and unique to each of them.
Absolutely. And speaking of that localized focus, is government and how is government supporting local businesses to be a part of, the bigger picture of international tourism's value chain?
So I think that the key word for us, and specifically I speak from a South African tourism context, is market access. We are tasked with marketing South Africa to the globe and obviously getting the South African domestic market moving. But providing new entrants to the market with access to buyers. I want to perhaps give an example. We as South African tourism, but also together with members of the South African travel trade, will be at WTM, which is World Travel Market London, in the first week of November. So not the week coming, the weekend after or the week after that. And part of us showing up on these platforms is taking new entrants to the market, because you really want to make sure, firstly, that we are showcasing the diversity of South Africa to the globe when we are interacting with these global buyers. But very importantly, you need to give local, even small, medium enterprises the opportunity to meet with them and to start to build a pipeline of business so they become more sustainable and obviously grow as businesses. We do that with the shows that we participate in, like, as I mentioned, World Travel Market London and others.
Yeah.
But we also, as South African tourism, own Africa's Travel in Durban, which is the big travel show in the leisure space that happens in May every year in South Africa. And we also own Meetings Africa, which is more the business events one. And we also create platforms in the form of hidden gems, pavilions, and others. In fact, we do a little bit of the sustainability village stuff as well, which also gives local arts, local crafters the opportunity to meet and engage with international travelers, international buyers, and sell their wares. So it's about creating this business platform where new entrepreneurs and emerging entrepreneurs can actually meet and engage and sell and do business with international buyers. But also there's a further angle to this where we really get the local community involved in these things that we do in South Africa, these big shows that we activate in South Africa, so that it gives them a route to market as well. So it's really about creating and really leveraging tourism's economic impact as an economic driver.
Absolutely. Daryl, I don't want us to run out of time. I've got less than 2 minutes on the clock. But we've got communities. You mentioned you in Kimberley, often forgotten by domestic travelers. We've got communities in rural South Africa, often forgotten, with so much cultural tourism to give and offer. What would be your advice in terms of how do young tourism entrepreneurs and women in these spaces actually maximize on everything that you're doing as South African tourism?
I think first and foremost, it's collaboration. What you do find in all of the provinces is we have local tourism entities, local tourism bodies, You will have provincial tourism agencies in the form of, Northern Cape Tourism, in the form of Limpopo Tourism, and others. And it's really important for me that they build those relationships with all the different partners in their relevant cities and in their relevant provinces, because that eventually all rolls up. A very good example for you is at WTM, we've actually got a relatively new safari outfitter, Kalanga Safaris, who is a new business, or relatively new business, out of Hoedspruit. And in partnership with Limpopo Tourism, we're actually taking this particular small business with us to World Travel Market to give them that exposure and the opportunity to grow their business and market their business on the international stage. So it's really about working with all the different players in the value chain, but more importantly, build those relationships, build those networks at your local tourism level, at your provincial tourism level, and then obviously from a South African tourism perspective, we will definitely participate and activate and support where possible.
Absolutely. Daryl Erasmus, thank you so much for the time. Chief Operating Officer and Acting Chief Executive Officer at South African Tourism. It's just gone 20 to 2 o'clock. We're going to hit a quick pause and then we come back with Kids Corner. And then we'll see where we go to from there, because ad hoc is supposed to be on lunch. And they adjourned and got up and then seemingly decided to stay instead of going for lunch. So we're going to try and confer and see what we do moving forward.
This is Lungi on any other regular day.
This economy makes me post once a day. Who does that? Like, ew.
Now this is Lungi getting extra with the 20 gig summer deal for just 99 Rand.
I have so many gigs. I could even have a gig, guys. I'm going live every single day to me because get friends.
Extra your summer. Get 20 gigs plus 2 months free YouTube Premium and 100 Vodabucks. Exclusively on the VodaPay app. T's and C's apply. Further together. Vodacom.
Join us Tuesday evening at 6 on Afternoon Express as we open up to your best life. The one and only Somizi Mhlongo goes back to school as part of his newest foray in the world of fashion. Musical maestro Lord Kez unpacks her story and how her newest song is sweeping the nation. And we unpack how every South African can turn their dream into a reality. That's Tuesday evening at 6 with repeats Sunday mornings at 8:30 only on S3.
Channel your inner feel-good on Expresso this October, from big global moments like the G20 summit to how it all plays out right here at home.
We are keeping it real this Mental Health Awareness Month with conversations that lift and inspire. And of course, all the good stuff that you love, delicious food, fashion trends, and everything in between.
Wake up with the Feel Good Breakfast Show, Expresso, weekdays 6 to 9 a.m. on S3.
After a 0-0 draw in West Africa, Stellies gets it that their next match is do or die. They want to remain in the continental competition, but their Ghanaian visitors are confident they will steal the show. This is the second leg of the second preliminary round of the CAF Confederation Cup. Be part of the action. Stellenbosch FC versus 15 de Agosto, this Sunday, 26 October at 2:30 p.m. Live on SABC Plus and SABC Sport on DTT Channel 4. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
For the love of the game.
This program is brought to you by SABC Education. Enriching minds, enriching lives.
Hello friends and welcome to Nali Bali. Did you know that kindness is one of the most powerful gifts we can give to others? When you share, help, or say kind words, we make the world a brighter place. Sometimes it can be tempting to keep everything for ourselves or want more and more without thinking about others. But being greedy often makes us unhappy in the end. Kindness, on the other hand, spreads joy, and not only to those we help, but also to us. Think about it. When you share your snack, your toy, or even just your smile, How does it make you feel? It feels good, doesn't it? That's because kindness connects us while greed separates us. So today, let's remember that even the smallest act of kindness can make a big difference. Now get comfortable and open your hearts as we listen to today's story called The Magic Peacock, written by Bradley Pulse. But before we listen to today's story, let's all get up and... In a small village nestled among towering trees and rolling hills lived a boy named Uthman. He was the son of a farmer, a job that earned him much respect but little else after years of poor harvests. Every day after school, Uthman would wander down to the river bank and watch other children play with longing. He could not join them because he was too weak from hunger. One afternoon, as Uthman sat by the river's edge, a majestic peacock approached him, his tail feathers shimmering in the sunlight. The peacock said,
"I hope you don't mind me asking, but why do you never join in the games of the other children, young child?"
Uthman sighed, his gaze drifting to the other children.
I wish I could, but I'm so hungry and I'm too tired to join in. My family has suffered for years because of bad harvests.
He said. The peacock nodded solemnly. Then he said,
"Oh, poor child, let me help you. Take one of my tail feathers and place it right above the mantelpiece of your fireplace. Soon, all of your worries will disappear and you will 100% be able to play with the other children."
With a gentle nudge, the peacock encouraged Uthman to pluck out one of his feathers. Though hesitant, Uthman followed the peacock's instructions. Then he carried the magic feather home like a precious treasure. It was his new lucky charm. As days turned into weeks, things changed remarkably on Uthman's farm. The once barren land now flourished. Golden fields of wheat could be seen everywhere, and fat ears of corn hung from stalks on the mealy plants. And because Uthman now had plenty to eat and was no longer feeling weak, he could enjoy his afternoons playing games with other children by the river, and he spent time with his newfound feathered friend. One day, as Uthman sat by the river bank, the peacock noticed that he frowned on his young friend's face.
"Why do you look so worried, Uthman?"
The peacock asked gently. Uthman sighed, his eyes downcast.
My parents have been talking about how they wish they had a little more money. They want to buy better tools to make the farming easier. Yes, the crops have improved, but the work is still hard. I feel bad for even thinking about asking you for more help.
He said. The peacock tilted his head. Then he said,
"Oh, Uthman, your parents work so hard, and it's natural to want to make your lives easier. Don't feel bad for asking. I'm always happy to help you."
Uthman looked up, still hesitant.
But it won't hurt you if I take another feather. And you've helped us so much already,"
he said to the peacock. The peacock gave him a comforting smile.
"Please, Uthman, don't worry about me. I will grow new feathers. Your happiness is my happiness. Trust me, Uthman."
The peacock said as he fluffed his feathers which sparkled in the sunlight.
"Oh, thank you, dear peacock,"
said Uthman. That evening he returned home with another feather. He placed it on the mantelpiece, hoping it would turn into the money that his father needed to buy new farming tools. Uthman's family farm began to flourish even more. With the good harvests and new tools, they became the wealthiest family in the village. Their neighbors, who used to pity them when they were poor, grew jealous and suspicious of their good fortune. One day, the village elder confronted the family.
"Hey, What kind of magic are you using? You guys were the poorest family. Now you are the richest. And why are you not sharing the secret with the rest of us?
The village elder asked Uthman's father. Other villagers were starting to join the elder. They looked angry and spiteful. Feeling scared, Uthman shouted out the truth.
Wait, guys, please. It's my friend. You see, the peacock. He's been giving me his tail feathers and they've brought good fortune to my family.
He said. The elder's eyes widened with greed. Without a moment's hesitation, he rallied the villagers, and together they rushed to capture the peacock. They plucked all of his beautiful feathers, hoping to claim the magic for themselves. Later that day, Uthman found the peacock in a cage, his once magnificent plumage all gone. Tears streamed down Uthman's face as he knelt by the cage and said,
Oh, I'm so sorry for what they've done to you. I never expected this to happen.
Oh, Uthman. The peacock looked at Uthman with kind, understanding eyes and replied,
I know, Uthman. Your sadness is my sadness, and they will be punished for their greed.
As the peacock spoke, rain started falling from the sky. The rivers began flooding and the fields were soon covered by flood water. Water seeped into the houses and ruined the furniture inside. As the villagers rushed around trying to save their belongings from the flood, Uthman freed the peacock from the cage.
Okay, come. Fly away, my friend.
Uthman urged through his tears. The villagers watched in shock as their crops were swept away by the floods. Uthman stood tall and called out to them.
This is punishment for your greed. You took what was not yours, and now we all have to suffer.
The storm subsided, leaving the village covered in mud and debris. A harsh lesson had been learned. As Uthman stood looking at his family's ruined farmlands, a beautiful peacock tail feather floated down beside him. The peacock, now free, circled around Uthman's head before flying away, never to be seen again. Years passed, and Uthman grew into a wise and compassionate man. His farm prospered, and there was always enough food in his home to feed his family and to share with others. The villagers, now guided by Uthman's wisdom, learned to value kindness over greed, and they never forgot the story of the magic peacock. And so we come to the end of another Nali Bali story time. Today's story was called The Magic Peacock, written by Bradley Powles. Did you know that reading and telling stories to children at home can help them do better at school? If you want free stories to read to your children or for your children to enjoy on their own, visit the Nali Bali website www.nalibali.org or Mobi site www.nalibali.mobi. You will find stories in 11 South African languages as well as tips for reading and sharing stories with your children to grow their potential. Also look out for the bilingual Nali Bali Reading for Enjoyment supplement with great children's stories and activities, available in newspapers. Nali Bali, it starts with a story.
This program was brought to you by SABC Education. Enriching minds, enriching lives. The Full Circle with Bridget Masinga. Monday to Friday, 1 to 3 p.m.
It was so funny. I forgot to tell you all yesterday when we were in Durban for the KZN investment, a few local government officials came to me to say the way you've been taking task with the ad hoc committee for not having a schedule structure. I was like, yes, it affects our programming as it's about to now. We're going to call it a day from our end. We're going to be standing by in the wings, though, should anything happen and wrap happens early at that ad hoc. But don't be confused because it is your 2 o'clock time stamp. It's not exactly 2, it's 5 minutes to 2. And we're going to take Ondela with the top of the hour news now so that we can jump back into that ad hoc committee that seemingly did not go on a break. So from my end, we will see you on Monday. Inshallah, God willing, we have to have ourselves a great weekend.
Thank you, Bridget, and the team. On the top stories, the Madlanga Commission hears of Madlala's relations with prominent police officers and learners involved in a stabbing case in Boksburg in police custody. For SAFM News, I am Ondelambana, and a very good afternoon. The Madlanga Commission has heard how alleged cartel criminal syndicate member Vusumuzi Matlala dropped the names of prominent police officers he's close with when police descended at his home in December 2024. They included the names of Deputy National Police Commissioner Shedrack Sibia, Head of Counterintelligence Feroz Khan, Head of Organised Crime Richard Shabiri, and KZN Hawks boss Lisija Sinona. Witness C says he suspects this was a way of Matlala trying to intimidate them when they conducted a search and seizure operation at his home. Witness C further adds that Matlala also dropped the name of Police Minister Senzo Mchunu to the list of officers he knows.
And furthermore, on that day, he indicated that he was in constant communication with the police minister, Mr. Senzo Mchunu, and on the very same night, he was supposed to have a meeting with Mr. Mchunu, and also indicated that there is a person who is responsible for his meeting with Mr. Mchunu, as he is not the one who arranged for the meeting.
Former Police Minister Bheki Cele says he did not communicate any expectations to attempted murder suspect Vusumuzi Matlala. Cele is appearing before Parliament's ad hoc committee, which is investigating allegations of criminal infiltration, corruption and political interference in the justice system. KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi made the allegations in July this year. Cele was the police minister between 2018 and 2024. He says he met Matlala a few times and he used his penthouse for free. EFF MP Leanne Matthews asked Cele whether Matlala had ever contacted him for favours.
It has never been said, and I've never thought so.
Okay. And you didn't consider that he has any expectations?
No.
He's just been nice to you. So when he comes here, how would you respond if he tells us that he travelled by road to bring cash to you because he couldn't fly with the large amount of cash that he was bringing to you?
I would say never. I never received any cash from him.
The Gauteng Education Department has described a stabbing incident at the Boksburg High School in Ekurhuleni as deeply disturbing. A group of boys allegedly jumped over the fence and stabbed a grade 9 learner. The department spokesperson Steve Mabona says the boys involved in the stabbing are in police custody.
We are talking about 8 boys that were involved in this attack. Police have already arrested them and investigation continues. The affected learner who's injured is receiving medical attention. MEC has condemned this incident in the strongest possible terms and called upon members of the community to assist in making sure that we don't see such incidences in our schools.
The department has also received a report of bullying at the Uasaran School of Specialization in Boksburg. It has condemned a video showing a boy assaulting a girl at the Christian Progressive College in Pretoria. In a separate incident, an educator assistant and a general assistant have been suspended after a grade 5 learner was injured at the Demakatso Primary School in Soshanguve in northern Pretoria. The Western Cape Mobility Department has launched a mini bus taxi executive leadership program at the University of Cape Town's Graduate School of Business. The aim of the 6-month program is to equip taxi industry leaders with the skills to strengthen collaboration, boost professionalism and drive transformation across the sector. Provincial Minister Isaac Sileku says the initiative comes as the industry faces pressure to evolve in a rapidly changing, technology-driven world.
Transformation is no longer optional. It's essential for the survival and growth of the sector. Transformation must go beyond just regulation. It's about re-engineering the way the sector operates, ensuring peace becomes permanent, livelihoods are secure, and commuters are protected. Violence shaped this industry's past, but transformation, technology, and leadership must define its future.
The authorities in the Delhi have, for the first time, tried out cloud seeding to induce rain over the smoke filled in the Indian capital. Chemicals were sprayed from a plane, hoping rain will clear air pollution. The BBC's Sanjay Dagupta reports.
For the Hindu nationalist BJP that now runs Delhi's local government, washing away air pollution by inducing rain has for some time been the preferred option to improve the city's notoriously polluted air quality. The problem was made more urgent by the brown haze that has settled over Delhi ever since Diwali fireworks went off all across northern India last week. The city authorities launched a test run on Thursday afternoon using a light aircraft. 2 professors at Delhi's Centre for Atmospheric Sciences dismissed the plan as a gimmick, saying snake oil solutions would not clear the air in Delhi.
Recapping the top story, the Madlanga Commission has heard how alleged cartel criminal syndicate member Vusumuzi Matlala dropped the names of prominent police officers he's close with when police descended at his home in December 2024. I'm on Dilambana for SFM News Alliance at 2:30.
Don't miss your chance to shape the future. The Limpopo Investment Conference 2025. Limpopo Rising, Africa's new investment frontier. Your gateway to unparalleled opportunities. From October 30 and 31st in Polokwane. Seize the groundbreaking prospects in mining, agriculture, tourism and green energy. Connect with global visionaries and investors driving Africa's economic boom. Limpopo's wealth is waiting. Be part of the rise. Join the conversation on lic.lcxonline.co.za. Invest in Limpopo. Invest in success.
Streaming Scheme Sum on the way to class.
Catching the Premier League while waiting for your order.
Jamming to Metro FM before you even get out of bed.
On SABC Plus, sinayo yonke into ifunayo. Your shows, your music, your way, anytime, anywhere. 0 subscription fees.
On your phone, tablet or smart TV.
Download SABC Plus on iOS or Google Play Store.
In fitness, as in finance, endurance is key. If you're 55 and older, you can get an interest rate of up to 10.47% with a Nedbank Electronic Optimum Plus account. Now feel the earn. Invest in under 2 minutes on the Money app and get money fit with Nedbank. See money differently. Nedbank. We're licensed FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply. For more info, visit nedbank.co.za.
It's exam time again. With 3 teenagers, that used to mean late-night cramming sessions and very stressed-out kids. Not anymore, thanks to Memorex. This all-natural supplement helps reduce mental fatigue and stress and helps my kids concentrate for longer. And when it's time to write, Memorex improves their memory retention and recall. Exam time equals Memorex time. Memorex, the X factor in memory reboot. Visit memorx.co.za.
Available at leading pharmacies and health shops.
The Expresso Morning Show has been nominated in 5 categories in the 3rd Annual National Film and Television Awards South Africa.
It all happens on Saturday, the 22nd of November 2025 at the South African State Theatre in Pretoria. And public voting is open from the 13th of October to the 20th of November at midday.
So visit nationalfilmacademy.com, register and vote for Expresso Morning Show in all 5 categories.
Then, of course, catch us weekdays 6 to 9 a.m. right here on S3.
Extraordinary is built on innovation, and Vodacom Business is leading the way. Cloud that scales with your business. Security that earns trust. AI for smarter, faster decisions, IoT that connects systems and people, and connectivity that bridges every gap. With these technologies working together, Vodacom Business is helping to build a better connected, future-ready South Africa. Visit vodacombusiness.co.za. Together, let's build the extraordinary. Vodacom Business, further together.
Clientele is here to safeguard you and your family with compassion because life happens. Be part of a family that truly cares. Our funeral dignity plans have helped South Africans bury their loved ones with dignity for more than 30 years. Let us help you create a meaningful tribute that honors your life and those of your loved ones. We pay out within 24 hours and you will get double accident cover with a clientele funeral plan. Our plans are affordable. Pick the option that suits your needs. Easy to apply, no medical examinations and no paperwork. SMS SAFM to 48031. That's 48031. Clientele Life is an authorized FSP and licensed life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
It's jam-packed with pressure on the Tastemaster Junior this Tuesday evening at 7:30 on SABC2 in the first elimination challenge as the contestants learn how to make their own jams and preserves from scratch. Who will spread the love and who will get themselves in a sticky situation? That's the Tastemaster Junior, Tuesday evenings at 7:30, repeat Wednesdays at 1 and Sundays at 4 p.m. Only on SABC2.
Gender-based violence is destroying lives and tearing communities apart. It happens in homes, in schools, at workplaces, and too often in silence. But it doesn't have to continue. If you see it, speak out. If you are hurting, reach out. Because doing nothing is not an option. Listen to all 19 SABC radio stations for hard talk, discussions, advice, dramas, educational shows, and interviews around GBV with experts, survivors, lawmakers, and a whole country affected by gender-based violence. All on your favorite SABC radio station. Call 0800 428 428 to report abuse or get help. GBV, it ends with you. This message is brought to you by the SABC.
Introducing South Africa's most affordable way to get hearing aids. At Specsavers Audiology, you can now get a pair of hearing aids from as little as 599 Rand per month. Hearing clearly shouldn't be a luxury. Enjoy life's moments from 599 Rand per month. Test your hearing today and join the conversation with Specsavers Audiology. T's and C's apply.
Hi everyone, my name is Itumele Nkune, SABC Sport football analyst. When I feel down and I listen to gospel, it gives me motivation. I'm a person who loves all genres. If I was a chef, my favorite meal that I would prepare would be pap, cabbage, meaty bones, with a bit of acha on the side. My favorite language is Portuguese. Bom dia, como está? Estou bem. What I like about SABC Sport is they give you the platform and the permission to be yourself and speak any language.
Catch the ever-passionate Itumele Nkune's analysis of Ibola Leju on match days, live on Latuma. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
For the love of the game.
Extraordinary doesn't just happen. It's built with every connection, every innovation, every leap forward. With Vodacom Business, you get cloud that grows with your vision, security you can trust, AI that drives smarter decisions, and IoT that connects what truly matters. Visit www.vodacombusiness.co.za. Together, let's build the extraordinary. Vodacom Business, further together.
Kude isho wayiveza la engicabanga ukuthi kwenzeke kahle ukuthi ngoba uye wayiphika indaba yokuthi kude mhlambe into oyitholile ubumncane obutholile kodwa uGeneral Mkhwanazi uye wayi-withdrawa leyo nto ngicabanga ukuthi sikhulumile ngayo angikhola ukuthi mhlambe uphatheke kabi minister kuleyo ngoba use-withdrawile uGeneral Mkhwanazi.
Uyangibuza ukuthi ngiphatheke kabi noma ngiphatheke kahle?
Yes.
Hayi ngiphathekile nje.
Uphathekile njani ngiyabona. Now ngiyacabanga ukuthi kuye kwaba nenkinga lapha uke wathi benibo minister ne4 if I remember well. Wafa abantu abaningi bakithi lapha ePhoenix. Ngabe kukhona ongasitshela kona ukuthi kuyakwanelisa imphumela omhlambe ama arrest enzekile after what happened lapha ePhoenix?
Noma ngingazi manje honorable member ukuthi hamba kanjani amacala kodwa baningi abantu ababoshwa. There was a special team under Brigadier Cele that was working there. And the last time I checked, there were about 12 people that were arrested there. But I don't know the status of the cases at the present moment. Bayakuhlupha.
Hayi bangihluphi. Ngoba isizwe asijabulanga ngento le eyenzeke lapha ePhoenix and babona ngathi umthetho awukho ngathi le ndaba ayikhulunyiswa akunamuntu okhuluma ngayo yaphela nje kanjalo kibo bonke abantu abake bafika la ngifaka nawe ngaphakathi ngizwile ukukhuluma iconcern yakho ngeCato Ridge kuphela but iissue yase Phoenix hence ngikubuza yona ukuthi iyagculisa ngendlela yahamba ngakhona na
angase ngikhulume nje ngeCato Ridge.
No, I'm talking Cato, not Cato Ridge. Le okhuluma ngayo.
Cato what?
Cato Mano.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Ukuthi kuyakhulunywa ngayo, kuyakhulunywa nangezinye kodwa le yase Phoenix ngathi akunamuntu ufuna ukuyibamba.
No, umbuzo honorable member ngeCato Phoenix. I said last time I checked, there were quite a number of people ababeboshiwe. So I don't know what is the status now. But there were people, some by then have been found guilty and doing some years. So it might not have been adequate, but there was a response in terms of the law dealing with the matters of Phoenix.
Honorable Nomvalo.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Apologies, Honorable Skosana, for interrupting you. It's a follow-up question, Chair, arising from a question which was asked by Honorable Skosana in relation to political matters which took place in Mpumalanga, which was followed by the General's visit, wherein he made commitments of making arrests. Now the question, General, is, after visiting Mpumalanga and making commitments therein, were there any systems that you put in place thereafter to ensure that you meet the commitments that you made in Mpumalanga? And if there are any, what progress was there while you were still the minister? Because we can't expect you to know now, because we are not a minister, so we are no longer in charge of the organization. But at the time when we were there as a minister, what progress did you leave in relation to that issue? And did you ever go back to the people of Mpumalanga and say, these are the systems that have put in place, and this is progress that we have made so far? Because the issue of political killings is a very serious issue. So I was really not satisfied, Chair, with a response that he gave that he doesn't know. And that I think it arose maybe from an impression that we are asking about his knowledge at this point. Kandi, the question was asking about his knowledge while he was still the minister of police. Thank you.
When I went there, I went with the provincial commissioner, honorable member. And the provincial commissioner was to put something special to deal with the matter. Well, Mpumalanga people will tell you that what has happened to the provincial commissioner himself is part of the problem that we are facing. It started there after that. So I don't know the progress, because a person that was supposed to lead that in terms of the provincial commissioner putting those teams had a problem herself, suspended. I think it's under, I don't know where it is now, but by the time I left, she was suspended and not on job and all, which I guess then that jeopardized the progress of those operations that was supposed to continue.
Ngiyacabanga ukuthi angigculisekanga ke ngendlela ophendule ngayo, kodwa ke ngizochubeka ngoba lesithembiso wazenza njengesithembiso owasenza masikhuluma ngeissue yakaSenzo Meyiwa killing. Wathembisa ukuthi umuntu ozoboshwa kufefamily yakhe, umuntu ozoboshwa oyedwa ubekhona ngaphakathi endlini la kwabulawela khona uSenzo, but up to today akunamuntu ophuma lapha endlini oboshiwe. Ngabe ngiright la?
Wrong.
Ukhona oseboshiwe?
Wrong ukuthi ngenza leso sithembiso.
No, wasenza leso sithembiso is on record, but again if uyala is fine, but that's what I'm saying, ukuthi wathembisa ilizwe la ekhaya.
Wrong is
no, ngiyavuma. Ungasho ukuthi ngirong ukuright, kodwa ke mina ngithi
wrong right.
Yeah ngisho ukuthi ke minister angabi ngathi siyalwa silwe. Mina ngifuna ukubuza nje ukuthi uyayala nokuthi wathembisa ukuthi umuntu omunye okhona ngaphakathi uzoboshwa obeke khona uma kudutshulwa uSenzo. Zange usho njalo.
Sengiphendulile lapho.
Okay, ngiyabonga. Uma ubheka njengoba kukhulunywe ngeissue yokuthi uMatlala might have been the one uminister umchunu obefuna afande i-presidential ambition yakhe or u-deputy or u-president in the next coming ANC conference. Ungabe wena leyo nto uyayikholwa noma uyikholwa? Ukuthi lempi ekhona engaka esiphoyiseni abanye bazokhuluma ngokuthi hence kwakhanselwa necontract yakaMatlala is because something went very wrong kule meeting efanele ibe khona phakathi kwakhe eyenzeka phakathi kwakhe noMukhosi oDawumazi uBrown Mkhotsi. Ngoba after that kwakhanselwa icontract yakaMatlala. Mhlambe ungabe ngokunye ngokucabanga kwakho ukuthi this functional battle noma nje into eyenzeka ngoba fanele yenzeka.
I think Lama battle started before the cancellation.
Yeah. Njoba sengizovala nginikeze umlingani wami. Ngizovala ngale yokuthi uma fika lana umkhwanazi ku statement sakhe asinikeze sona. Uthi ispolisa samoshakala ngo2007. Ngo2007 kwenzeka ukuthi kucala kubizwana amaphoyisa abizana comrade. Waba namabray enziwayo ePulukwane. Azange kuphinde amaphoyisa ahlonipheke or ahloniphane. Kwaqala ama-faction ngaleso sikhathi. Ngabe uyavuma kuloko?
Angivumi.
Uthi akucalanga ngaleso sikhathi. Ngabe kuqale nini ukuliwa esiphoyiseni i-top management ngokwakho ukwazi?
So lokho abakhona amaphoyisa.
Oh, lokho abakhona amaphoyisa. Nawe uma ukhona leyo impi yaqhubeka injalo.
Yebo.
So uthi iqale ngo1994. Not ngikhuluma nge-new dispensation, ngikhuluma ngalawa kudala abangasimelanga. Lento iqale 1994 ukulwa.
Ngiyavumelana nawe.
Ngiyabonga. Sengizonikeza ke umlingani wami aqedelele njengoba uchairperson avumile. Ngiyabonga.
Can we speak, Chair? You can pass to another person, Chair. we, as the MK party, we have exhausted all our questions. We don't want to speak for the sake of speaking.
I'm giving you a standing ovation today. Chief Whip. Chief Whip.
Oh, no. Thanks, Chair. Thanks a lot, General. Good afternoon. I know that many questions have been asked and answered, so I shouldn't be that long. And I'm going to try and rephrase the question for you to address a specific issue. For instance, in your submitted SON affidavit, General, you speak about General Mdluli, the decision about his suspension, but you also talk about on the same paragraph that you were directed by the then Minister and Deputy Minister to fire General Shabalala. Now, what I want to understand here, what is it that is so special about Mdluli? Who is Mdluli? And where does the country come from with Mdluli? Because he emerges as somebody very central to whatever that has happened in our security cluster over the past a decade or two. Who is the man?
Well, I really don't have extra information than what I have. Mdluli became the head of the crime intelligence in June, when I became the head of South African police administratively in July. I am told that the way he was employed was a panel of ministers chaired by the Minister of Police. I think there was a Minister of Intelligence at the time who happened to, I guess, was Dr. Kwede. I think there were other ministers. There were about 4, I can't remember who they are. That makes him a little bit special, Mdluli, from the very word go, because I've never seen a TTG having such a panel of the ministers. But one thing that was quite significant, there was an acting police commissioner then, General Williams, or Commissioner Williams, and I'm told was not part of that panel. This is a DDG, but the DG of that department is not part of that panel. That's quite interesting. Mdluli, his background, this is under correction, so that I don't lie under oath. And I fight with Mr. Skosana. So his history looks like it comes from the police anyway, but was belonging to this branch, that infamous branch called Special Branch. Looks like that's where it comes from. And those that they know him, they said he would be not a very kind guy. Those that have been in the hands of Special Branch, they would understand how they would treat you, those guys. They were not nice at all. So it looks like he was part of those guys. But also looks like he was person that people were scared of him, because the arrest looks like was suspected, because I don't think was ever found guilty, was suspected of murder, which had nothing to do with the work, which was a kind of a social matter, because it looks like a person that was murdered because he interfered with his girlfriend. So sounds like that. So he's a person that would you know him to be brutal both work and socially, but it's a person that I wouldn't know him too much, because He spent his time reporting to the minister and the president rather than reporting to the national commissioner.
No, thank you. I'm asking this question because in your submission, you made an important observation that essentially the time at which the country started to regress in terms of its capability to defeat crime in our country was more or less around the same time, around that time, when such characters were being appointed, and let alone the way in which that character was appointed. But you also made references to the fact that as a consequence of your refusal to act or the way in which you acted towards him, you acquired some enemies. And I think the enemies that you acquired also included, if I read your statement very well, the head of state of that time. Now, you know, there is a theory that may not enjoy popularity in our country, but it's there. And because it exists, it's supposed to be dissected. That there's always been people either who were infiltrated in the movement that led us into liberation, or who were inherited by the democratic state after 1994, remain in the system, but always working hard day and night to bring the very system down. Do you think these are coincidences that here pops up Mdluli, gets appointed in a very funny way, and the situation changes right from that period, of course, with the then National Commissioner Pierre assuming the reins, and the destruction of the security cluster happens unabated? Would you say these are just mere coincidences, or this is maybe one of the manifestations of an intervention that is done deliberately to weaken the democratic state at the security level?
Honorable Member, maybe one important thing to say about Mdluli. He was suspended for 8 years. He was under suspension for 8 years. And remember that you hire nobody if a person is suspended. So he was earning his salary without any hindrance as suspended. Yet there was no head of the crime intelligence. So there is that gap until he was fired by Mbalula, as Mbalula comes, and I came after Mbalula, but was suspended and earning the salary for eight years. So it could be both him getting involved, but also there was this lacuna that was there because there was no head. But broadly, from the world of security, Honorable Member, there are no structures that are not infiltrated by opposition. That's your take, that's bottom line. They even say, when you're operative intelligence, they give you a beautiful, good information, you must be worried because information is forever on the exchange. So you wonder, as they give him such a good information, how much good information he or she gives on the other side.
It's a game of trade-offs. Yeah. I give you this one, you give me the other one. Now, General, the issue, you know, when we listen to Minister Mkunu, part of his consideration, and not only him, I think General Sbia as well, there's this issue about the amount of money that was spent on the PKTT. I know you said earlier on that's not a terrain that you would have been directly involved, and I remember Minister Mkunu saying that we may have to ask the AG or somebody else to conduct an audit. But where I want to get an understanding from you, was there ever any moment where a focused discussion during your tenure takes place with regard to the impact on the finances of SAPS of the work of the PKTT? Was there ever any, and if there was, including maybe possible abuse that may involve the S&T or the overtime? So was there any focused discussion on the matter? And if there was, any actions were taken maybe to mitigate the possibility of the system being exploited?
I think this one of abuse, there have been some specific examples that were made, Chairperson, that the operatives and the police were sleeping on posh hotels. They've mentioned one. I hear people saying that Beverly Hills is a top-notch. There is a top-notch hotel next to Beverly called Oyster. Oyster Box. That is a really top-notch. That's a really top-notch something. So there is an accusation. There is an accusation that we're sleeping there. I don't have that information that there are police that slept there at the Oyster Box. I don't know where they were sleeping. What I know is that they would have found the accommodation from the hotels or those places that they would have slept to. But I am under correction. For me, there would be no reason for the police to be sent to sleep at the Oyster Box, which I think Mamumeri speaks on it, that they were sleeping there at Oyster Box. But if they were sleeping in the hotels, let's say minus Oyster Box, is not something that will be awkward and be based only in KZN, honorable member. There is a hotel here, as you drive, near, is it the Mountain View? Is Tape View? There's a place called Tape View here in Cape Town. There is a hotel that is on the water, there's on the sea. The South African police of Operation Thunder were living there. As you sleep, the waves are almost on your room in that hotel. So then it could not be the problem then of PKTT. So it could be the generic problem that we'll have to work on. So for me, my argument would not then, if that is your consideration, you would have dealt with one unit and let others sleep on the sea.
Now, General, you made some observations about. Sorry, Chair.
Honorable Malem.
I just want to ask General to remind us, Richard Mdluli, when he was arrested, was he not with another police officer called Kimba or Killer?
Yes.
What was Killer's role in the police at that time?
What was his?
Yeah, what was his role? Was he also in the crime intelligence?
The crime intelligence. He's still there. He's still in the police.
Has he not gone to Kuruleni to work in the Kuruleni there from Zwandile?
Why umbuza into yaziyo? So I think he did go to Kuruleni, but I think it did come back to the CI. Yes, it did work for Kuruleni.
You may proceed, Chief.
Yeah. No, thanks, Chair. General, I just want to ask if you have any suggestions that you would like to leave with us, because you raise a concern about, and you identified it as a major problem confronting the police, the issue of, for a lack of a better word, I think you refer to easy bail, people getting bail easily. Never mind that they've committed crime for which the police are convinced conviction can be secured. I don't remember whether you have made any proposals about what exactly should be done, if any, if you have thought about it.
Actually, I would love to add on this thing of bail, There is another animal called parole. That's another big animal. Where people, I'm told, they are released on the good behavior in prison. And I don't know why you would have a good, how you have a good behavior in prison, because you're in prison. So you behave so because you're in prison. So we can get the numbers, but the numbers are quite bad of the repeat offenders of the parolees. So both parolees and the bail, they need to be looked very, very close, Honorable Chair. There is an argument that there are not too many criminals that are running amok among South Africans. But the problem of the courts and correctional service is the resupply of the criminals, that they come back. At some times, by the way, we are victims of our success, especially the police who are victims of our success. When I was there, Honorable Member, there were 3 bouts of parole under Minister Lamula. At one time there were 14,000, at the other time there were 9,000 parolees at a go. The last one included Umsholozi, the parole, quoting that parole of 9,000. So it's an issue that when you follow them, you find them, some of them going back, having done the worst things and the original things that they've done, but also most they are found for the revenge. That they go back to those people that were witnesses and set them in prison and come back to them. I'm not saying that people, they must die in prison, but if there is a way of checking and thoroughly checking on the parole, they should be so. But when it comes to bail, I think the laws are there. There is this Schedule 6. If I'm not mistaken, the lawyers will help you. I'm told that the Schedule 6, you don't get the bail, especially if you're second Schedule 6 and all that kind of thing. So there are the laws that are there. But one thing that keeps cropping up with the bail is corruption. I don't know if the members are aware of the fire that is burning around the Judge Letwaba with a bail of Mlefe, that the Judge Letwaba was given 2.5 million to grant that bail. So there is that the magistrates are not very sympathetic to the work of the police. So if we can enhance those laws, let's do. But the laws are there. I hope people that are there to implement those laws can do the best.
Let me check with the Chief Whip first. Did you want to make a follow-up on the question before I... Honorable Sangoni, Honorable Nomval.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. No, I think we've heard you, General, on the bail. I suspect that the Chief Whip is also looking forward now to also our report. Beyond bail, are you seeing any legislative or institutional reforms that you think this Parliament should be considering to strengthen the police service, given your experience in there?
Of the bail or police in general?
Not bail, beyond the bail issue, which is one matter. All of these challenges that Honorable Nduli was asking about, that you've spoken at length over the last 2 days, is there anything that you think from a law perspective or an institutional reform perspective we should be considering?
Chairperson, I've said this time and again, or I heard Mkwanazi talking about it here. I said this is a good learner. I've said it time and again. sometimes I think those that I belong with them in the organization, they'll think I'm a rebel on it. We created the situation where victims are treated worse than the perpetrators. Perpetrators in South Africa are having it nice. And the victims are thrown under the bus by the system. Most of your kids here, they are at school, private school, you have houses, you have cars and all that. If one of you are shot and killed, that killer will be taken to police station. The first thing that will do will complain about cold water. Want a hot water. That's the first thing that I can't use cold water here. I want a hot water. And indeed, you run around like a headless chicken getting hot water for him. The second one will say, I don't eat this, I eat this. When he's sick, most of them are taken to private hospitals where they have never been. Go there. When they are sentenced, they sit with TV and they watch everything and still go enjoy their medication and all that. When they stay longer, they study until we have just been given the numbers of those that will be writing matric, and others, they come out with PhDs and all that. Where are the kids of the father that was shot by that person? Nobody knows. We have the track record and the follow-up of a perpetrator until gets the parole. But we don't know about the kids that as their father dies, they are taken out of their private school because they can't pay. Their cars is repossessed. Their house is repossessed. And kids, we call them paras. The system is wrong. We just need to go back. It's sympathetic and it's good to perpetrators vis-a-vis the victims. I think that should be really, well, that is not a sour grape because people that follow my statements, public speaking, I've said that thing time and again. The police die young, maybe that's why we have subset and all that kind of thing. Even that, by the way, Honorable Malema, it's fun that we don't have the special education trust from the government that teaches the offense of the police that die on the line of duty. When we pay about 13,000 rand a month for a single prisoner. And those that are innocent, they get 350 rand. Then it's fine to go to prison. We pay 13,000 rands per prisoner a month. We pay 350 rand for a person that does not work and is hungry with the family. So people, they get comfort out of crime, out of committing crime. So I think we need to go back and check the system and see what we can do with the system as a whole. Thanks.
Honorable Nomvalo, Honorable Malema.
Yeah, thank you once again, Chair. I just want to establish from the General. When General Ntlanhla was here, he said the reason why they formed this multidisciplinary approach or task team, it's because they were faced with an undesirable scenario where they arrest people today and see them out on bail on the following day. So one of the reasons why they formed it is because they wanted to circumvent that. Now, the question is, during your tenure, I know that you left it while it was doing its job. Is that kind of formation able to diffuse this thing that you call an animal, this one of a bail? And from a genuine and objective perspective point of view, I agree with you as a person who has been practicing as an attorney for 10 years. So I agree with your frustration because it is a prevalent problem that we have in our legal system. But is this an ideal formation that we can advise even to task teams which are currently in existence to say, because we are dealing with critical issues and we don't want to open gaps and loopholes, we must make sure that we have a multidisciplinary approach that will have SAPS, NPA, so that there will be no possibility for frivolous bails that are issued to criminals who will come back and be dangerous to society. Thank you very much.
We would term it a prosecutorial directed kind of investigations when they work together. Remember that in this task team initial, honorable member, there were this almost how many, 116 or 126 police with about 8 prosecutors working there. That did improve the situation. I think it's much better when the police investigators work together with the prosecutors. Mkwanazi was correct, and the situation improved when the team was formed.
And the other thing you're proposing is that we need to democratize that thing of hiring of DDGs, where a national commissioner just can't appoint a person alone. Perhaps if we open it to a couple of people, depending on what could be the suggestion at a time. The same way Mdluli was hired, where you've got a couple of ministers sitting together, inclusive of the national commissioner or anything to that effect, where these other people get hired, including provincial commissioners. We don't subject them to one individual.
Provincial commissioners or honorable member, they are in the constitution, so they are fine. They are in the constitution. The national commissioner in concurrence with the provincial government, so they agree on that. So again, a minimal play of the minister. They say if they can't agree, the minister comes and mediates. Immediately he mediates. So that will be an issue. So provincial commissioners are catered for. The problem are lieutenants generals who are DTGs. Honorable member, there is a way how DTGs are employed as we speak now. The DTGs, there will be a panel. I think the panel will be, I think DG will be 3 ministers and the DG from the other department. I think there will be 5 in panel, I forget the 5th one. But the DDG, it could be a minister of that department and with the deputies of the department, and is a little bit junior. But it's happening. The call here is that even with the police, it must happen as it happened across the government. You don't need to come with the new methods. Those methods exist. How they exclude police is a problem, because it's only you that you decide that I'm the TTG today. And indeed, you will keep reminding me, but by the way, you are TTG because I like it. So it is a problem.
Thank you so much, Chief Whip.
No, thanks, Chair. General, there was a long discussion here with Minister Mkun about the appointment of a chief of staff. What has been your own practice in the appointment of your own chief of staff? Maybe if you can recall in the police, because that's the recent job you have left.
Chief of staff, there is a panel that chief of staff goes through, getting interviews and all that, and then they will recommend, and you've got, while there is a panel, you've got a very big say with the chief of staff that you agree with. But you don't sit on it. But as a minister, you do put the panel that will work on the matter, because it's a minister's employment, the chief of staff. But I can't wake up the next morning and shout that Mbele now is the chief of staff. There is a process nonetheless.
So the process is basically to look at the things that should not be bothering you, like check qualifications and all these other things. Now, who goes into that panel, not as a member, but to be considered as a chief of staff? Mangit, who? I mean, do you have to submit 3 names, 1 name? Who else? And how do people get to hear about it if I want to throw my name as well in the panel and be considered for the chief of staff of a minister?
I think it could be chief of staff. It could be both, depending on the minister. You can internally advertise, or you can advertise externally, as it would have happened with especially the police body. Usually in the police, they start by advertising internally, and if you can't get that person, then you go externally. That's how it goes. The panel that would be there, and those that applied from outside, if it is that the way it has been advertised, or internally, if it has been internal, and then they go through and they give and then they give the names to you, and you agree.
Okay. I'm left with 3 questions now, General. We're almost done here.
Just before you conclude, Honorable Nomvalo.
No, Chair, I was saying the chief whip must declare if he has an interest. We can lobby for him.
Let's proceed, Chief.
No, thanks, Chair. No, I'm left with 3. The one of the 3 questions is another character, General, and I'm taking advantage of the fact that you have been in the public service since 1994, and also you are coming from the security terrain, even in terms of your participation in the struggle. Another character that has emerged over the past few years, very dominant in the police sector, for whatever reasons, is Paul O'Sullivan. Who is this person?
I thought you were going to say it's Mohose.
No, that one is a newcomer.
Paul Sullivan. I think Paul Sullivan is a British citizen originally. I don't know when he came in South Africa and all that kind of thing. Is one person that he plays big. So for some reason, I've never met him, but he really likes to talk about Cede. That's one person that speaks about Cede. One time was giving the history of Cede, when they were asking where it comes from, what is the history of Cede to be in this line of police. And he said, one time I was a metro police in Durban. He said I was a metro police in Durban. The metro police in Durban, their uniform is nice. By the way, they earn more money than the South African Police Service. The chiefs of metros earn more money than the National Commissioner. That's another thing. There's another awkward thing. That is why this city of Cape Town, where Honorable Cameron belongs, they've taken a lot of members of South African police to Metro, because Metro gives better remuneration than the South African police. Maybe those are things that at a certain given point we'll have to really look at them. Sullivan looks like he's like an octopus. I'm sure you know octopus. Octopus is almost all over and speak about everything, sometimes that he does not know anything about. But it does look like his insecurity. His benchmark life is Jackie Selibe, that he took Jackie under. He had some form of security at the airport that Jackie cut off. I'm sure the path of taking Jackie under, it was quite several millions. It was quite several millions there. Well, there would be information that it belongs to MI6 and all that kind of thing. But he's such a shady kind of a human being with a very little understanding of matters and very much big of himself. You know, I listened to him. Mkwanazi did say this thing here. I listened to him initially, Sullivan, when he says he was sent by the president to scan a person that was going to be a national commissioner. And he told him about Masimula, and the president went on to employ a wrong person. So I heard him, Kwanazi, saying that Sullivan said so here. I spoke to somebody this morning who was asking where Mkwanazi took the thing, and they said no, it was said by Sullivan. Sullivan, according to him, is nothing but the god of security world, the god of running the politicians, the god of knowing every and any other thing. So where and how it came about here, I don't know. Maybe for that, it's important to end there, but one that it has, because it's not very much verified, could be said at a later stage. But the guy goes much deeper and much problematic about the matters. She has a version of Auntie Mary, but in a more serious and dangerous way. Auntie Mary does it academical. This one does in security way.
No, thank you. I'm asking because, you would have noticed I asked about Mdluli. I'm now asking about this O'Sullivan because these are people who, from what we hear, whose involvement in our security cluster and the impact of their actions have been very, very devastating.
Just one other thing. He likes his beer, big time.
He likes his beer.
He loves his beer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I hope sooner than later we'll understand what brings them together in that way.
He loves his beer. He hates Kumalo. He hates Masimula. He hates Mkwanazi.
Now on the issue,
There's no problem with Mkunu.
He has a problem?
Has no
problem.
Yeah.
Okay. Now on the issue general of Matlala, Mr. Matlala, when in your statement you indicated that when he sent a message to somebody alerting them that we are going to come and make use of his facility or the place. Now in that message he says he referred to you as a business partner and a friend, something that you have firmly disputed in this meeting. Do you think that the possibility also exists that either everything or almost everything or some of what Matlala had told you about Minister Mkunu were simply a constructed lie?
The story told will be forever 50-50 whether truth or lies until it's verified. But my problem here is Matlala says I'll be arrested because of this document. He says, here is the document sent to me by Mkhuno/Mokhotsi. So that then gives me the understanding that is correspondences. You could go for the investigation and find that he got the document from somewhere. But if it's true that it was sent through Minister Mkhuno/Mokhotsi, they would have to explain, to say what was the role of that document.
On the top stories, Cele welcomes Mkhwanazi's withdrawal and North Korea builds memorial for soldiers killed in Ukraine war. For SFM News, I am Ondelambana and a very good afternoon. Former Police Minister Bheki Cele says he accepts the withdrawal by KZN Police Commissioner Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi that he received money from the attempted murder accused Vusimuzi Ket Matlala. Cele is appearing before Parliament's ad hoc committee that was established to look into allegations of criminal infiltration, corruption and political interference in the justice system. These allegations were made by Mkhwanazi in July this year. Last night, the committee's evidence leader, Advocate Norman Arendse, read out a message from Mkhwanazi withdrawing the allegations, indicating that the bank account number was incorrect, meaning Cele was not the recipient. Cele told MPs that he accepts that Mkhwanazi had made an honest mistake.
One police officer I like is Mkhwanazi. Not because he's Mkhwanazi, not because he's beautiful or what, no. Because he knows his work. But Mkhwanazi is a human being like me and you. He's got his faults. And I believe that the mistakes he made are genuine mistakes.
Witness C has testified how Vusimuzi Ket Matlala indicated to him that a portion of the money from the SAPS tender went to Deputy National Police Commissioner General Shadrack Sibiya. However, Matlala did not indicate to Witness C how General Sibiya and KZN Hogs head Lisija Sisona assisted him in getting the tender. Witness C is currently testifying at the Madlanga Commission sitting at the Bridget Masinga Justice College in Pretoria.
Commissioners, unfortunately, with regard to the way of securing the tender, he didn't go deeper into it as to how were they of an assistance to him. What he indicated is that after each and every payment by the SAPS, then a portion of the payment goes to General Sibiya.
Judgment in the bail application of the 52-year-old East London teacher accused of human trafficking and forcing young girls into prostitution has been reserved. Vuyokazi Gana appeared in a local magistrate's court where the judgment will be delivered on Monday. The court heard closing arguments from both the defence and state. The state is opposing bail. In a written affidavit, Gana indicated that she intended to plead not guilty to the charges against her. She also said her chronic illnesses, including depression, diabetes and hypertension, would worsen if she were kept behind bars. Cape Town's iconic Table Mountain aerial cableway has been nominated as the world's leading cable car ride. Table Mountain itself is up for the world's leading tourist attraction at the 2025 World Travel Awards. Marketing executive at Table Mountain Aerial Cableway Company, Colette van Aswegen, says the nominations highlight Cape Town's growing global recognition as a top travel destination.
Accolades like this is really a recognition of the hard work that we put in to ensure that we provide excellent service and an excellent experience to all visitors. It really acts as an additional draw card for visitors to South Africa and also to Cape Town.
North Korea has begun building a memorial for its soldiers killed while fighting alongside Russians in the Ukraine war. The North Korean leader Kim Jong-un says the memorial on the outskirts of Pyongyang will be a symbol of the friendship between his country and Russia. The BBC's Jae Kwon reports.
South Korea's spy agency believes that North Korea has sent more than 15,000 troops to Russia's Kursk region. Among them, around 2,000 are believed to have been killed. Kim Jong-un told a crowd of wounded soldiers and their families gathered at the groundbreaking ceremony that their spilt blood will forever tie Pyongyang and Moscow together. Kim added that the brotherhood of two countries will advance non-stop. North Korea signed a defense pact with Russia last year and soon enter the war against Ukraine.
Recapping the top story, former Police Minister Bheki Cele says he accepts the withdrawal by KZN Police Commissioner Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi that he received money from the attempted murder accused Vusumuzi Khetimahlala. I'm on Delambana for SFM News Headlines at 3:30.
In your sports this hour, Sasol renews contract with SAFA and Ocon shifts focus to exams after historic World Championship medals. More details at 3:30.
Think about 6 years ago, when Amapiano was just a musical instrument, when streaming meant watching water flow, not videos online, and remote work was only said when your remote batteries died. So it makes you wonder, what will the next 6 years bring? Hino trucks now come standard with a 6-year drivetrain warranty, covering everything from pistons to gears. So although a lot can change in 6 years, our warranty promise won't. T's and C's apply. Hino, all the way.
So you thought you were building a business in this economy, but day by day, somehow it grew. You kept going when the freezer didn't freeze, the bucket didn't budge, and the bank balance barely blinked. So you thought you were building a business. You weren't. It was building you. Because this isn't just what you do anymore, it's who you are, and you don't trust just anybody to protect it. Chat to your broker about Old Mutual Insure Business Insurance. Protect what built you. Old Mutual Insure Limited is a licensed FSP and non-life insurer.
SAFM's award-winning drama department presents to you the radio drama series, Skyline.
Press that to cockpit medical emergency now.
Cabin crew to your stations.
Where the skies promise adventure, but behind the cabin doors, untold secrets are found.
He's signing off on cheap parts they installed like it's nothing.
Catch the radio drama series every Saturday at 9 p.m. on SAFM, leading the conversations that move us. The National Pulse with Ashraf Garda on SAFM. You're listening to the National Pulse, weekdays 3 to 6 p.m.
There's no question that the various conversations we've had around the Parliamentary Ad Hoc Committee and the Madlanga Commission in many ways, whereas we may not know truly what's going to happen next, in many ways they have been riveting. They have been riveting listening to the witnesses testifying. And that's certainly the case today, once again, with the former police minister, Bheki Cele, right? My name's Ashraf Garda. This is the National Pulse. We understand that we're probably going to have the last hour of Bheki Cele before he finishes up with his testimony, and we don't want to miss that. So save the numbers. You can WhatsApp just now, 0614 104 107, whatever it is you want to get off your chest, or to call in live, 086 000 2032, or you can tweet. I'll check it up immediately. Hashtag the National Pulse. But in feeling the pulse of the nation and what moves, let's get straight to the Parliamentary Ad Hoc Committee. And once again, you'll hear the voice of the former police minister, Bheki Cele.
For this issue, maybe that question would be why it didn't go to the National Commissioner or other people. I don't know why, and I don't see the reason why it would go to the minister.
I've got only one question now, but you see why I could not finish early, as I had committed to Honorable Matthias and others, because my questions are provoking further interventions. One last question. I hope, General, it's my last question. Matlala, this character, Matlala, you made a very good point earlier on that And maybe you were also answering that question jokingly when one of the members was saying something about you being associated with a character like that, and you made reference to the fact that you are a retiree, you are no longer a minister. If you were a minister, you were going to have to come back and declare in an event where you had made use of the facilities of that person. Now, and I think we all have understood that. But besides the fact that you are a retired Minister General, you are not a retired leader of our movement and our people. And me and you know that our movement has historically prided itself as a parliament of the people of South Africa because of not just itself, but also the conduct of its leaders. Don't you think that if you look at it now with the benefit of hindsight, that your association in whatever kind it assumes, acquaintance, or there's a word that was used here, in whatever kind that it assumes, don't you think that it does have a negative impact on the standing of the African National Congress? And don't you think in the context like that, you are contributing indirectly in diminishing the standing of the African National Congress by being associated with such characters? Thanks, Chair. That was my last question.
Chairperson, when I met Matlala, he was not arrested. I did not even know that he's a wanted for the things that are there. By the way, many of the leaders of Matlala, leaders of the movement, have been seen with Matlala. I hope you have seen his photo with the president. I hope you have. Yeah, it's public. Is there, and I guess many people would not know, and as I would not have known then, but I repeat of what I said. Taking what I know now, I would not behave as I behaved before I know who he is and what kind of a character.
Pangazita.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I'm actually prompted by the response of the General, because one would have actually expected that the General, having been the Minister, would have some kind of access to intelligence, information. I find it very difficult to understand and accept Tuguti Umatlala could actually invade the corridors of leadership of this country without, having been vetted by some security agencies, be it criminal, South African, security, whatever. I can't accept that. I find it very difficult whether or not we still have a intelligence capacity as a country. If not, then we are very vulnerable. Thank you.
General, do you have any comment to make?
Well, the comment is that what I said yesterday to say is not the terrain of the minister to know the intelligence world. It's not. Somebody raised a question about counterintelligence. I just imagine the minister calling the counterintelligence. That would be worst. But with the president and those structures, remember, president has access to all these structures. The state security, for instance, the national commissioner and the head of intelligence in the police can be called by the president without telling me. If they want, they can tell me. If they don't want, they cannot tell me. The state security could be. And I think even the DI president can have an access to AI. So, if you ask me that question, I will take it that such a character would have been known and in the radar of these structures. At a certain given point, having said, Mr. President, there is such issue with this person. Has that happened? I don't know. Maybe it has happened. Maybe it has been after some time. But there is one problem about photos. It's a serious problem. I'm not sure whether I know one person that they take a lot of photos with his Julius, Honorable Malem, and then
I don't have a photo with Matlala. Never.
Well, at least Usbaruako. So, and then these photos, you find them moving around. So, and you really say, did I take this one? You know this Matlala issue. There is a photo that I have taken recently. I was not even aware that one person has changed here. So now, when he moves around and you see that there are changes, you realize, yeah, man. So at this level, it can happen when people. But I agree with you that at the top level, there must be people that are protecting to say, but you can't take it without shouting. So this picture can't be there and all that kind of thing. So I agree with you on that one.
Honorable James.
Thank you, Chair. Just to add on to the Chief Whip's comment, not only does it negatively tarnish the image of the political party to which you belong, it also sends a painful message. Although we are discussing things here at a very high level, it also sends a very painful message to the mother down there whose child has just stolen from her. When you sleep in the hotel of someone that is allegedly embroiled in drug cartels, it means that you almost become indirectly a beneficiary of what we go through in our communities. So when we look at you as a leader, and we expect your conduct to be of such. I accept what you said earlier on, that your relationship, in hindsight right now, when you look at it, it was a mistake. It should never have happened. But I just thought that I would emphasize how the public feels, how we as mothers and as people that's living with this feel when we see you benefiting from our pain and from the monies that our children steal from us. Thank you, Minister.
Honorable Chair, is exactly the point that human beings will make mistakes. You come back and say it happened. I'm sure those mothers would have that question. But when I said, I didn't know this person is, now I know and it won't happen, I believe that they would understand. Thanks.
SC.
Thank you, Honourable Chair, Honourable Members. Just a few questions, General. How much did you know about Kabindi working for IPID? And would it have been at the time when McBride was the head of IPID? Around 2017?
Around 2017, I know that I was working for IPID, but I was not in the security establishment in 2017. I was doing one of my top jobs. Which was the Deputy Minister of Agriculture.
And subsequently, when you became Minister in 2018?
I think by then he was not there, either suspended or whatever the issue. But I think he was not working by then.
You're talking about Nkabinde, not McBride?
Kabinde.
Kabinde. And
McBride? I'm asking about McBride.
No, I'm asking about Kabinde. Kabinde, do you know that he was and I speak subject to correction, but I heard that he was also involved or embroiled with some issue with O'Sullivan. Did you hear anything about that or know anything about that?
Well, I know that there were issues between them. But mostly the issues I know is that Sullivan worked closely with McBride. Maybe more than Nkabinde. I wouldn't know exactly the involvement of Nkabinde, but I know that there was some common touch.
So the common touch between O'Sullivan and McBride resulted in Nkabinde either being suspended or dismissed or resigning?
Well, I don't know the reason of suspension of Nkabinde.
Now, IPID investigates police misconduct. So that would commence with some complaint about the conduct of a police officer, either a member of the public or a colleague or a whistleblower. Would it be, in your experience, having been minister for so long and obviously interacting, I suppose, with IPID from time to time, that two officers of IPID would go and visit a complainant to discuss the case or maybe take a statement or ask for further information?
We talk of McBride and Nkabinde.
Well, generally,
visiting.
I'm going to ask you something specific, but I'm just asking generally.
I don't know why at that level, especially the head of the institution, will also visit me at home.
Yeah.
I might be, if there is any form of respect, I might be visited by some officers, but it can't be the head of. It can't be Masimula coming to my place to take the statement and all that. I'm sure he might send some officers to go and do this. So to answer your question, it does sound unusual.
Okay, that's where we'll just pause for the moment. Rest assured, we'll be back at the ad hoc committee ASAP. This is the National Pulse.
It all starts with FNB Private. With secure, easy payments for a hassle-free overseas holiday. Tap, swipe, or go digital with your FNB Visa cards. Earn rewards when using your FNB credit card or global account debit and virtual card. You can even fund your global account on the FNB app while traveling. Make the most of every moment. Unlock invaluable with FNB Private. Help changes everything. FNB, a division of First Rand Bank Limited, an authorized FSP and credit provider. TCs earn rules and limits apply.
The Expresso Morning Show has been nominated in 5 categories in the 3rd Annual National Film and Television Awards South Africa.
It all happens on Saturday, the 22nd of November 2025 at the South African State Theatre in Pretoria. And public voting is open from the 13th of October to the 20th of November at midday.
So visit nationalfilmacademy.com, register and vote for Expresso Morning Show in all 5 categories.
Then, of course, catch us weekdays 6 to 9 a.m. right here on S3.
So Taryn, you've just graduated cum laude, but nothing says you're a genius quite like selling your car to We Buy Cars.
Absolutely. My car was an 18th birthday present and it's time to move on to something a bit more mature.
So where did you hear about We Buy Cars?
All of my friends are using We Buy Cars. I would have had legit FOMO if I hadn't used them. And it was so quick. I did it on my laptop while sending around my CV.
Smart move, Taryn. Graduated and upgraded. We Buy Cars. Geared for success. Geared for you.
The National Pulse with Ashraf Garda. Weekdays, 3 to 6 p.m.
Well, thanks for tuning in to the National Pulse. Thanks for following the proceedings all day today and every day as we've covered from the one commission on the other hand to the ad hoc committee at Parliament on the other. This is the National Pulse. Let's get back to the former police minister, Baki Cele.
There's no opinion why they would have gone there.
And then he appoints a private investigator to become involved, presumably to to almost play an oversight role and ensure that the police officers involved do their work. And Kabinde is then sent to see the Hawks because Senzo Mkhunu alleged that the Hawks were harassing him. What do you make of all
Were
that?
harassing who? Hawks were harassing who?
They allegedly harassing Minister Mkhunu.
So he sends the PI, private investigator.
No, he doesn't send the PI. And Kabindi, after the visit by him and McBride to him, Kabindi goes to the Hawks to speak to the Hawks. Whatever, we don't know what he said to the Hawks or asked the Hawks or told the Hawks. But it is because Minister Mkhunu is now complaining that they are harassing him. What's your comment on this kind of conduct or this kind of...
What audacity Kabinde had to go to the Hawks and tell them who to work with or not?
Yes, no, I think I just want to understand how that would work when it's the independent complaints arm of the police visiting a complainant, and then from the complainant going to another arm of the police, the Hawks, who are supposed to be independent, and going to speak to them about harassing a complainant to IPID.
Kabinde was still in IPID then?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what form that Minister Mkhunu then approached the matter. But remember, private citizens of South Africa, they have a right to approach IPID if they feel they are harassed by the police. That will include the complaint about Hawks does not go to IPID. It goes to the Hawks judge. It doesn't go to IPID.
But I think at that time there wouldn't have been a judge. I think it was quite fairly recent.
So then, if the private citizen is harassed by the police or Hawks, then if there were no judges, they had a right to go and investigate the allegation, not to tell the Hawks to stop or not, because to investigate, and the police or the Hawks would say we had a case to pursue, and then it ends there with the IPID must allow the police to continue to do their work. So I don't understand the modules here, why it would happen that way. Was it a courtesy visit to say stop it, or was it investigation? I wouldn't know.
Thank you, General. In your capacity as Minister of Police during your time from 2018 through to June 2024, did you at any stage interfere with any police investigations, live dockets, or interact with the National Public Prosecution Service at all in relation to any case?
No, I've never been part of dockets of the investigators. Under my job as a National Commissioner and the Minister of Police, dockets don't come close to me.
So you don't at all, when you interact with the police, for example, we know that when you were minister, you appear on television regularly at the scene of a crime because of your concern as the Minister of Police And as you told us in your consultation, you're an elected office bearer, official, and the people, when something happens like the tavern killings, when those youngsters died in the tavern, you go to the scene of the crime because the community are not asking, where's the national commissioner, where's the the provincial commissioner. They want to know, where's the minister.
In many times, you will go there because the communities are making that call to say, where is the minister? And the member sitting behind you, Honorable James, will also remember that there were many calls, especially to Westbury, where we'll go and explain. Places like Enyobeni, people will send, will listen to them in the morning as kids have died the last night, where is the minister and all that. I've found out with my work that people don't expect National Commissioner to come and explain as communists. They expect politicians, the minister, to come and explain what has happened. And they'll even further argue to say, you are a public representative. We elected you. We did not elect the commissioner. Their job, commissioners, is to work on the crime scene, arrest and investigate. The job of the politicians is to link up and talk with the people there.
And we'll just pause on that, and we will get back there as soon as we can. Right, it's 3:30 for now. This is the National Pulse. Let's get the news headlines with Ondela Mbana.
Thank you, Ashraf. On the news headlines, the Madlanga Commission has heard how Sidibeng District Commissioner Brigadier Mbangwangwashu attempted to visit murder-accused and alleged criminal cartel member Kadiso Katie Molefe outside of prison visiting hours. Former Police Minister Beki Cele says he accepts the withdrawal by KZN Police Commissioner Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi that he received money from the attempted murder accused Vusimuzi Ket Matlala, and 4 elephants have been spotted roaming near the Zuchwa area in Botswana's Kgalagadi region, marking the first sighting in the region in a decade. A full update follows at the top of the hour.
SAFM, guiding you through the rush hour traffic.
Good afternoon. Starting off in Gauteng, the N1 southbound in Midrand has a crash reported after New Road. Bayers Naudé Drive westbound in Cresta has a crash near Judges Avenue, and on Saturday, highway and local routes closures through Sandton, Randburg, Melrose, Nasrec and the airport from 8 a.m. to 10:30 and again from 1 p.m. until 2:30 for the G20 dry run of convoy escorts. In KZN, the N3 westbound has a stationary vehicle at Key Ridge and the N3 eastbound a stationary truck after Cliffdale, and the M7 is where crashes reported at the N2 highway. In Cape Town, the N1 outbound is slow moving towards Okavango Road, the N2 outbound is slow moving towards Bunga Avenue, and Stellenbosch Arterial Road eastbound in Kells River slow moving towards Noyensfontein Road. With your traffic update, I'm Irma G.
This is SAFM Sports with Doming Khapele.
Chumi's got a football top that says Italy. Okay, let's talk about the Proteas women.
Well, a very good afternoon to you, Ashraf, and our listeners. The Proteas women final pool match of the Women's World Cup against Australia tomorrow will be one to see who finishes top of the log. This is after the league phase, while both teams have already qualified for the last 4, as have England and India. It's not yet known who will face who in the semi-finals. Right now, Australia top the log with 11 points, while South Africa have 10. England have 9 points and face New Zealand on Sunday, and India 6, and they face Bangladesh on Sunday. Here's Anneke Bosch. Well, then the Dolphins beat the Western Province by 1 wicket in the Cricket South Africa 4-day series. Ethan Bosch was the man of the day, finishing unbeaten on 59 as he led the way in knocking off the 88 runs still needed. Then on to rugby. The Lions have made 3 changes to the side that beat Scarlets for the Vodacom United Rugby Championship Round 5 fixture against Irish side Ulster at Ellis Park tomorrow. Flanker JC Pretoria Pretorius, who is out with a knee injury, will be replaced by Jared Cairns. Then Reynard Northernagel returns to the starting lineup after playing off the bench last weekend, while the only change to the back line is Bronson Mills, who lines up at 12 in place of Richard Kriel. Then in football, Sasol and Safa have renewed their partnership for an extended 4 years. The previous sponsorship had concluded on the 30th of June, with the renewal negotiations taking longer than initially anticipated. Banyana will continue displaying the Sasol logo on their training and travelling apparel. Elsewhere, Barcelona forward Marcus Rashford says that he hopes to remain at the Spanish club. This is beyond his loan spell from Manchester United, describing the move as the change he needed. This is after spending his entire career in England. Now, Barcelona are covering Rashford's wages during this season-long loan after the Manchester-born player accepted a pay cut with an option to buy set at around £30 million, which is around over 600 million rand, and Rashford's United contract runs through till 2028. In netball, South Africa goes into 2025's special general meeting under a cloud of uncertainty and controversy surrounding suspended President Cecilia Molokwane. World Netball has instructed Molokwane to remain barred from all netball activities while it investigates allegations of professional misconduct and mismanagement of NSA funds. Now, despite that directive, she has confirmed her intention to attend the SGM this morning and throughout the weekend, defying the world governing body suspension order. Now, the 2-day meeting, which will include NSA's executive elections, which is set for tomorrow and Sunday at the OR Tambo Garden Court in Johannesburg, beginning with council sessions at 10 a.m. And SASCOT leadership, led by President Barry Hendricks, has been invited as observers as part of efforts to ensure transparency in the process. Then in terms of basketball, legend Shaquille O'Neal has reacted to the arrest of Chauncey Billups and Terry Rozier and Damon Jones in the sports gambling investigation. So around 31 NBA players, former and current, have been charged in a pair of sweeping and historic federal gambling busts, one of which had links to the mafia.
The letter of the law when it comes to gambling and sports gambling, and I don't want to sit up here like I'm some perfect guy. Like every now and then when I go to Vegas, I'll play some craps and I'll play some roulette, but never gambled at anybody's house. Don't know anything about poker, so I don't know what they're talking about when it comes to the Chauncey thing. But I know Chauncey, I know Damon very well, played with Damon, so I don't want to sit up here, but I'm ashamed that those guys would put their families and their careers in jeopardy. There's an old saying in the hood, all money ain't good money. So if you're making $9 million and you're dealing in certain things, like how much more do you need? Especially if you know you get caught, you can do jail time, lose your career, put a bad image on yourself or your family or on the NBA. I agree with you, Chuck. They dropped the ball.
100%.
They had this
100% dropped the ball.
And like you never want to have your name involved in that when you know the letter of the law. And Ernie, again, I know for a fact every year they cancel practice and say don't do this and don't do that and don't do that. So all the guys had the information.
Obviously, this is a developing story, but I think it's absolutely crazy, Ashraf. 31 current and former players involved in this gambling scandal, and they're still investigating.
Wow.
I was listening to one of the stories where LeBron James was named. He's not part of it. However, Damon Jones was actually close with James at one stage, and he had an injury. And Jones actually, because he's part of this whole thing of them betting and stuff, he tipped one of the players that, listen, let's bet on this one because he's injured. Obviously, LA Lakers is not going to win if he's not there. And it's just a crazy story.
Well, I mean, look, we've had the example with South African cricket in the Hansi Cronje era. We know that very well, how destructive it is. There's two parts to it. How destructive it is to the players, that they would actually effectively bet against their own team, in this case here, sending information through. But the other is, it really just tells you just how dangerous betting is, and the betting syndicates around the world, in sport, outside of sport, have got their tentacles all over it, and they influence it big time, and they clearly influence it to make a profit.
Absolutely.
Not to get you to make a profit.
Yeah,
So
that's
think
so
about
true.
that.
And also
Yeah.
the fact that some of these athletes, they earn a lot of money. How much more money do you want?
Wow.
Anyway, I'll
Yeah.
have more on other sports in the next hour.
It all starts with FNB Private. With secure, easy payments for a hassle-free overseas holiday. Tap, swipe, or go digital with your FNB Visa cards. Earn rewards when using your FNB credit card or global account debit and virtual card. You can even fund your global account on the FNB app while traveling. Make the most of every moment. Unlock invaluable with FNB Private. Help changes everything. FNB, a division of First Rand Bank Limited, an authorized FSP and credit provider. TCs, earn rules and limits apply.
Amakosi want to display a winning performance in front of their home fans. Meanwhile, the big boys from Kolwezi target away goals to return to DRC with happy hearts. This is the second leg of the second preliminary round of the CAF Confederation Cup. Witness Kaizer Chiefs versus AS Simba this Sunday, 26 October at 2:30 p.m. Live on SABC Plus and SABC2. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
You're listening to the National Pulse.
Well, we expect the ad hoc committee commission to end today, the ad hoc committee, parliamentary ad hoc committee, with Becky Cele concluding his testimony. So we expect that like in the next 20 minutes or so. Let's get right with it, with the action.
Yes, there were, but most interestingly, why then December 31st you cancel one when they're all in the same line of problem? So why do you cancel one?
Well, that's why I mentioned it to you. On what basis, without any reasons, do you single out one of these task teams?
So there are almost 10 there.
Yeah, and I know we're under time pressure, but if you look at the organogram, that's one of the reasons that Minister Nkunu gives, because you won't see them listed in the organogram.
But why do you cancel one when there are 10?